Good afternoon, everybody. Have a little goodness from our wonderful friend who does awesomest tunes. Hey, hey. Ah. Ads. Always in. Wait. Skip the ads. A little VOG to start the live, fellas. We got awesome vibes. Just about a week now. It's just been all over the place. So it's really good to kind of come back and hit the good juju. So hold on, I'm trying to get links situated. Enjoy the tunes from our wonderful brother. What's the exercise? I actually haven't heard this one yet, by the way. So, I got the cards too. We're gonna do some meditating, and we're just gonna talk about the good things, all the good things. So, I hope y'all are ready for the goodness. There's a lot of it. It's a lot of goodness. What's up? What's going on? Good to see y'all. I know it's been a minute too since I've had a live, but yeah, we'll get in that. We'll get into it. Mm. Mm. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. Y'all, doesn't our boy jam? Like, oof. Wow, just the man. Like, just all right. Anyways, so reason why I haven't gotten on the live, since, well, we all know the situation. So, but I wanted to talk to him. I want to, I've ever since all that went down, like I was telling him earlier, and I've been kind of straight conduit mode. I mean, everything, with the den and just with him in general, like instantly, I was like, all right, started sending up flares, like angels, hey, what's going on? I need to know how my boy's doing, and they instantly were like, whoa, just whoa, it's okay. And I was like, you got to let me know it's okay. You got to let me know that he's okay and the situation's going to be okay. And I promise you, like, as soon as I sent up the signal flares and just, I don't know, I was like, I just reached out and I was sending angels, I was there and they just looked at me like, wow, just calm down. Whoa, 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 whoa. And how we have things under control. They're with him. And I actually knew the angels were with him. And it was like this kind of subtle calm, but angst all at the same time. Hey, Tricky, what's going on, brother?
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. I was just kind of giving the lowdown on the distance through the week just because, everything that hit so heavy, I instantly shot up the flares to the angels, man. I was like, hey, what's going on? You need to be with him. And they were like, whoa, we are. And just calm down. They maybe pumped the brakes a few times, And I was like, okay, my bad. I'm just looking out. So,
yeah.
it's like, and I wanted to, I really wanted to talk to him, before I came out and just started talking about all of that. And since I've kind of just been the conduit, I'll pop in, I'll send my love, but just with all the influx of energy throughout the whole spectrum of things, you kind of got to let it flow and bounce. So that's taking some oomph, I'm not going to lie. And well, all good things though, because I talked to him just a little while ago, here about an hour ago. He is radiating, y'all. I'm just saying, like, every time I look in on him and I feel for his energy, it's always bright, it's always radiating. But the man is glowing.
Yeah.
And he sends his love. He's feeling the love too. So I want y'all to know that. Like, I know we've said it in the chat and the den a couple times. He feels the love darts, but I can see it in his face and I can see it in his soul. He's wrapped in the love and support. And he's
just took it on completely as part of his journey, hasn't he?
Oh yeah. And see, that was what was so beautiful about the last few draws I've done with him and like just with the whole group in general, and the draw that we had today.
Oh, that card draw! I've looked at it.
Man,
that's just like that's
dude,
that's
I
epic.
was shuffling. It wasn't any particular kind of draw. I was just shuffling. I was like, all right, so tapped in. I was like, angels, Nick's higher power, his spirit guides. What you got for him? And I was just shuffling. One card fall out, and it'd be that one. And it was heal the ouch, and that's all kind of still what we're doing is healing that ouch. He's been fully invested in his healing modalities lately because I mean that's what he has to do, and he's got perfect amount of time for it, right?
Yeah.
Shuffling. The compass fell out, and the compass, it was just I'll get to the reading in just a minute, but I was shuffling, and he asked what's the expectations and the happenings of the next 3 days, because he's got a good feeling about it, and there's reasons too, like I'm sure y'all can get up in the den and kind of see the workings that have been going on, and good things happening. All right, so
Okay.
so we I was shuffling again, and the Wizard of Awareness came out. You know, I love that card, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. And
it speaks volumes.
It does. And we walked through it. I was like, so we're healing the ouch, you know. And I was like, the compass is telling us, you know, keep to that true north, that moral compass, you know, what we focus on, what we delve our time into and our effort, that's where our higher power will start to resonate. And right now it's in his healing modalities. And I was like, I told him I could see those gears.
I feel
turning.
it, brother. I totally feel it.
Boom, just so much. And then he was like, oh man, it'd be really cool if I did get out in like 3 days. I was like, oh, so that's what you're wondering. Okay. So I was like, all right, has a true question for you. I started shuffling one more time, and the flying card came out. And it was that horse that looks all DMT trippy, and it has the butterfly wings. And every draw over the last 2 weeks, he's been in that, going towards that metamorphosis stage of the butterfly. And I was like, dude, this is so it was just profoundly powerful, and it hit him in a way that just solidifies the greatness and the conversations and the work that's being done on his benefit.
That's it in stone,
dude. So yes. How are you?
Man, you're pumped up. I love it.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it, mate. I'm fine. I'm absolutely doing fine. Thank you for asking. You're top of the world, brother. You're absolutely feeling it right now. It's radiating. I've been feeling it, bro. I can feel a change in what's going on around me, and it's. I haven't moved from this spot,
right?
So I haven't done anything really interesting, but I can feel it.
Dude, things are happening. Like, you know.
Yes, they are.
It's funny because this kind of was like similar to a draw that I had with Taylor one night. And the way I did, I think I shared it to the den, but it was a different kind of draw. I had a sideways card between the bottom two, and this would be like the bridge between the conflicting situations, and the top was the higher self message. And it was the Wizard of Awareness, but it went from the ghost lands and goblins that's merged by being stuck in the mud. So like in this sense where we think we're complacent, or we're kind of bogging down in the rut, that's just, that's our mental aspect. When on a spiritual aspect, hey, take a breath, sit back.
The only thing I can think this whole time is it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, I got my stuff out today. I'm in a good vibe, and it felt good to see him too. Like I said, I've been away just for the whole energetic reasons, and I've been putting in my love. I'm still around, y'all. I'm still around. It's not, I haven't just disappeared on you, I promise. And more often than not, folks don't know who I am in the chat, just because I'll change my name to some weird esoteric name from here to there or wherever. So
I have to go and check your pictures every time you change your name.
Yeah,
see if it's you. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's Dave? Dave's not here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bounce around. Y'all know that. So it's just I've been in the energetic flow.
Yeah. Let it out, man. Let it out any which way it wants to come.
Right. Essentially the conduit, because there's been a lot of influx from both sides, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. And it does take a toll, but I mean, if you channel it and let it flow, you're good. Yeah. If you hold on to it, that's when the mistakes start happening. So like being stuck in the mud, I don't know. I'm rambling a little bit. So
you're doing good,
basically
man.
What I'm getting at is just over the last couple of weeks, yes, there's been little kind of stagger steps, but it's all been leading to this
a retrograde.
Most profound goodness. Yes, it's the retrograde. I mean, essentially, yes. And by the way, he was exuberant when he found out about you having a channel and how you've been holding that pillar, man. It's I had to commend you just because it was like, yes, he's got a channel. Even though you're doing it through YouTube, you haven't got the folks come on with you, but it's not needed. Your presence and your love and your support. I was like, between you and Lewis, you're like the two old people on the porch. They're just watching the tornado roll by the front.
Yeah,
like, oh,
rocking on the chair with a pipe.
Yeah, just rocking. And like the whole time, the town torn apart by a tornado, and like, it's just the wind. So yes, I was like, he got a laugh out of it. And he's like, it's awesome.
I keep thinking of Waldorf and Statler out of the Muppets.
Yeah.
You know, with the two old guys up in the box. Oh, shut up, sort of thing. Yeah.
So yes. But yeah, good things. I just really wanted to come today since I've made contact with him. We talked and shared, and he's glowing. He's exuberant. He is still, you know, he's starting to get the itch of comfort and escape, if that makes sense. You know, like I wish to be gone, but you know, it's kind of cool here at the same time because he's making connections. You know, and it was funny. He's like, every night's like a podcast night because just the stories and the interactions and all that. So he's in a good place. It might not seem like it to us, but I was telling him, I was like, dude, you got angels with you. You know, when I called on them and I sent them to you, they were already there and they're telling me to back off. And he's like, I am protected. I was like, you most definitely are. I mean, you can just see it around him too. Besides his glow, he's like, I was like, it might be the lighting, but nah, man, you're glowing. You're glowing.
Yeah. Well, he glows anyway, man.
He really does.
If you look at the guy, right, he's glowing anyway. And I was saying it on last night's little YouTube that he knows where he's at. He knows what he's doing. He's good with it. Everybody just take a seat and watch.
Take that. So that any kind of draw I've done, even if it might be directed at him, myself, or another, it is a universal message because we can all take from it. Like, just take that seat of that wizard of awareness. We all got that observer inside of us. And we're actually going to do that today too. I have a whole little meditation kind of planned out. So we're going to do that. And I got cards for us to draw if we want to draw, and beautiful things.
Yeah, good things.
Yes. How's things on your side of the pond?
Well, for me, you know, brother, it's just the same. It's I don't, what I've done is I've stocked up cupboards and made sure I've got good food in.
Right.
I sit tight. I don't really mingle much. So for me, not much changed. However, on this side of the pond, it has begun.
It has begun. I saw.
Did you see the you have to have a certificate for supermarkets?
Really? I saw something about like one of the big lawyer guys coming over there and starting work on the baddies or whatever.
Oh,
that
good.
That was like over the weekend or the end of last week.
I've seen two posts today. One from Tesco, which is a big store over here, and one from Morrison's, which is again another big store over here. Right. Both saying that you will have to have one of these vaccination passports to go in and actually purchase food.
Mm-hmm.
If that isn't just the Fourth Reich,
man,
I don't know what is.
It really is. It's like the deformation of divine liberty. That's beyond, civil liberty that we look at here in the States. Your divine right is to sustain yourself as needed. So to prevent that is essentially what goes against any form of hierarchy. Well, I say hierarchy because it's inverted pyramid.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And what's an inverted pyramid? It's a funnel.
Yeah, exactly. And
it funnels right down to a singular point.
Yeah. And sometimes that's either where it began with all their fuckery or where it's ending with their supposed outcome on us. And I mean, either or, I look at it as it has to come to fruition. I was talking about this. They're like, what? Do we swap timelines? Did we get hijacked? And I was like, yes, but
pretty much,
a while ago. And that shouldn't be new news. But where we kind of get sidetracked is that when we start pushing the mold of the flow, if that makes sense, sometimes you got to let the river run its course.
Forcing the issue.
Right. I mean, I don't want to come off as like that placated, I don't know, dweeb that is just it'll pass. No, I'm saying as a river, for it to fertile the valley, it must flow through the Rocky Mountains, right? I mean, not the literal Rocky Mountains, but just metaphorically speaking. A river must flow through crappy terrain for it to get to a low point and spread and fertile the valley. And that's what I see is happening. Even though they're doing things and part of their schemes are working, so be it. Let them, is the way I'm looking at it, is because the more they succeed, the more it's apparent how much they fucked up. And then it's going to come crumbling down just like it's supposed to, regardless of, I mean, it's, good things. Yes.
But, good things for sure. And I was saying this again last night. I don't know whether you caught last night's little stream I did, but
I didn't last night. I was at work and we were kind of snowed in and whatnot. So I have snow and fake snow. That's what I'm calling it, fake snow, because it's not.
Have you got that your end? I was just about to mention exactly that. Have you got the snow there that's burning?
Yeah. It's compact ice. Now, I swear there is, just like how you can make an igloo, right? And set fire inside of an igloo and it constantly stays solid because what's melting is freezing just as fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so same principle, I'm assuming, with a lot of what's been circulated with people burning snowballs or whatever. Now, what we have is, it's sleet, but it's compressed sleet because it's fallen a lot, and it's mostly just ice. It's not actual snow. Now, at the same time, it doesn't taste right. It's weird, and it doesn't feel
in a chemical way.
Yeah. Kind of like how you can bite into like a Hostess donut and it's off. You can, like
you had to bring donuts into it, didn't you?
Yeah, I really did. Just because, that's the going. I'll just get some donuts. I mean, from your donut shop, that's fine, but just the over the counter little package.
Something not quite right about that. It needs to go in the bin.
You can bite it and almost like taste the air off of it, and it's like it's doesn't sit right in the back funky. Of the roof of the mouth, right. And so for the longest time I've stirred away from all that. I don't even get them anymore since the first time I tasted that kind of weirdness. And I think that kind of comes with more awareness of your body too and all that. But the snow, fake ice, whatever it is, it tastes weird. And
I was worrying about it not because it's snow that's on the surface, but because as it peters away into the heat, it will drain into the water table, and whatever that is will then have an impact on all of us later on.
Especially like for gravity fed systems and municipalities, or not gravity fed, but like aquifers. The gravity fed ones are usually in a tower, so
or full capture farms or something.
Right, right. Fish farms, all kinds of these things that utilize a natural water source or the natural supply of water and this isn't natural,
Plus it's coated all the crops, trees, fields, lakes,
everything. And the bad thing is it's not just here, it's like all the states, some of Europe right now. I saw in the chat Athens is under snow. When the fuck does it snow in Athens?
Or Texas? Athens or Texas? Never, right?
Hardly ever. Where I am, we live in a delta, so it's essentially a mud bowl. Right, and the levee, it breaks most inclement weather. We don't get this shit. It's like, in my lifetime, I've seen snow maybe 5 times. Well, hell, in the last 2 years, we've had it twice. And it's like, see, a couple of years ago, that was real snow. This time,
playing silly buggers.
Right. So, I mean, it's strange. Talked with some folks in the chat too, kind of close to me in this area. Healthiest water to drink. I just saw. All right, so I like spring water, but you gotta be careful where you get it, because bottled spring water can have just as many contaminants. Really, honestly, the healthiest is distilled water, because the process that is used to distill water is the purest process. Like the purified water, I call it pea water because it's essentially pea water. So, because you can literally purify your own pee and drink it, and that's just filtering it enough. So you're still getting sediment and all kinds of other stuff, and then whatever's in the plastic. Now, distilled water is the best, and it has been shown empirically to decalcify your pineal gland on a natural state, because what is distilled, it breaks down calcium buildup, it breaks down like heavy metal, stuff like that, in small quantities, of course. I mean, you would have to drink copious amounts throughout like a month or so, but hey, what's a month when life to live and such. But
so what do you think of this? I mentioned last night that 15th was President's Day, and then 17 days after that is 4th of March. 4, 3, 2, 1.
17. It was wild too. The numbers that lined up for Nick's draw. I don't know if y'all saw the numbers on it, but it was 38, 50, 3, and then 20. And that all lines up to 111. So 111. And I was like, dude, this.
Yeah. Knock the ball out the park.
Yeah, I didn't do it. He did it. That's the thing. I was like, I'm just flopping. Yeah, I'm a card flopper. So
awesome.
Yeah. But good things are happening, not only with him, but I've seen it in the chat. I've seen it with the group, even myself and my fiance. We're all growing, and we're all starting to sprout wings of transformation. I'm doing things that are going to get me an actual slip of certification that I've been doing for fun, and I can actually do as practice, aka cards, Reiki, such things like that. These are things that I do, but now I'm just going through the motions of getting the piece of paper along with it,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I after my head trauma, I considered going into psychology.
Hey, for sure. You'd be good at it. The only bad thing is I had, because that's been a calling for me as well, counseling, just being the ear. I'm good at it, Yet I don't want to call it programming, but it's an engineered way of thought that has to be applied in those fields. And that's what's turned me away from them, is because, right.
Totally. They wanted 6 years of university and exams from me before they even start to think about certificating me.
Right. And, there's other ways that you can go about these same things without jumping through those hoops. And it's not for nefarious purposes. It's like, oh, I'll get like an online certificate to be an online ordained minister or something. Well, ministry doesn't come from being ordained. It comes from your heart. Just like, I've had several people ask me if I'm in it, and I always told them no, until I realized why they were asking me, just because they saw it. And then from now on, it's been, every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to bless you. I'm gonna sit here and tell you I wish you well. It's like I will pour my heart out. That's me. That's part of it. It's
I've
not something that
if you're anything like me, which I think you so are and you don't realise it, is that I only have to go into, say, a cafe or a restaurant and take a seat, and before long somebody has to come over and touch me.
Right. Yeah. Just hey, how are you? Like, come touch you on the shoulder to ask you how you're doing, or shake your hand.
Yeah, just sat there minding my own business, eating my breakfast, and this woman comes over and she puts her hand on my arm and she goes, hello. Hello, love, you all right? And she was like, yes. She says, I just felt I had to come over. I have so many people come and sit on, say, a bench in the park. And before I know it, it's a proper Forrest Gump story, just oozing from them. And they tell me their life story. And I don't really understand why, but I accept that they do this. And I believe that real psychology is in being approachable.
Yes. It's because it's not really. They say trust is a big thing. Now, I look at that in a kind of skewed way, because trust is almost inherent in all situations. It's much like faith. Like, you don't take one step forward without trusting that it's going to be ground, right? I know that makes it seem like a very trivial subject.
No, you're right, though.
It is the basis of it. So in the same sense, like, like, I don't know if I trust him, right?
Who's that just put that in? They all can smell the weed. Oh, it's evil. That's what they approach me. Thanks, mate.
Oh, yeah. You? Well, hey, man, look, you got that pull to you.
Well, do you know, the thing that I wish for the world the most is for everybody to be as approachable at any time.
Yes.
Just because they're happy to see you and happy to help.
Right.
That would be, what a step forward if we stopped all looking at each other like, I don't like you, and you, and judgment.
Yes.
Get rid of judgment.
It's wild you say that. I know people don't like the Masonic organization. And most of you know that I am one. So, taking from that just tidbit, I've had people approach me that were seeking help, and because they knew it would be either offered or reciprocated in need for that kind of that Masonic affiliation, right?
Yeah.
But after I got in, when I got in, and since any encounters that I've had and I've been asked about it, it's like, yeah, I am. And I talk about it a little bit. And then I always follow up with, but I've never met anyone that wasn't a brother or sister. And what I mean by that is we're all humans, divinely guided in some sense, and it all comes from the same place. So radiate that love, and you're not going to be wrong. It's like that doesn't have to be confined to this organization or this brotherhood, or say like law enforcement or fire departments, or that sense of service and that sense of giving, I would say, in a lesser term, is what you're getting at. That as a global perspective, once that's actualized, oh man, just the Palladians are going to be coming to us looking at like, oh wow, what have you done? Because they radiate that giving, but they also have more of a outer lying perspective. It's not just Earth, it's the universe too. But once Earth kind of gets into that little bubble of we love you, we'll help
I always think as well, Thomas, that they must be learning so much from us. We will have culture barriers, language barriers, all kinds of barriers that we have. They must be looking down and going, wow, look how they segregate themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, they do. And for the longest time, it's been a laughable subject,
Yeah.
Because so I don't like naming, like particularly Palladian, Arcturian, Mantis, whatever it is. But I just know it's outer realm beings. And I've met some that aren't good, and then I've met Boo Koodles that just radiate just this like, okay, this is a good presence, And yes, when they perceive the Earth, right, they do look in a way of confusion and amusement, because
it would amuse me too, in the same way as watching an ant colony.
I was just about to say an ant colony.
Yeah.
But every, where the dirt is that separates this line from this line is what we think is a barrier. And I'm like, we're all crawling through the same dirt.
Yeah.
And we're all working for the same thing.
We're all crawling through the same dirt. I love that.
I mean, it's just, and yes, they look at it like they're on the same dirt, right? I mean, really, they're looking just.
Yeah.
A really morbid example would be telling a blind person to look at an ant farm and how they're going in different lines. And they're like, it's an ant farm, right? And they're like, yeah. So what am I looking at? I can't even see it, but I don't have
That's a great analogy of the public right now and the news they're receiving right now. They haven't got a clue.
Yes, because it's like, what am I looking at? Well, you can't see it, but I'm telling you, it's an ant farm. Okay, so why am I looking at it? I'm just showing you all the different lines. It's an ant farm, right? Yeah. So it's all the same thing. Well, no, there's different lines. But you can't see it. I mean, I know you're blind, but you can't see it. I'm just trying to tell you, it's different lines. It's the same fucking thing. A blind person can see. Yeah. I don't know. I'm terrible at jokes, but it's just, man.
No, you're right, though. We are trying to explain the simplest of constructs.
Yes.
To some of the most incredible minds of our time.
Oh, that's the
and yet their eyes fail to see it.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was so happy when I was telling you about. I found it as the Global Peace Tribe, so I'm gonna kind of boost them up a little bit. That's like the forefront of the ET and interdimensional contact.
Is this Stephen Greer?
He might be a part of it, but it's like Linda Moulton Howe, Adam Apollo, Mark Sims, Alan Steinfeld, Scott Comatas, Elizabeth April. They just did like a little round table summit. Like
David Childress, is it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a bunch of big names, and
yeah,
but they have like a powwow like every Thursday or something. You can find them on Facebook. They do ask for like a subscription fee, and it's like $35 a month. This actually pays them and part of their research. And
is it a think tank?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, but it's bringing awareness on like a huge platform.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's everything from 5D healing modalities to extraterrestrial contact and knowledge, really. And then quantum verse. The guy Adam Apollo, he was really big into the quantum scope, and his little virtual background looked like the Starship Enterprise, but not an Enterprise, but it looked like the bridge of a starship. And he was talking about when he just last traveled with some Palladians on their starship, and he has contact with folks that have been allowed to fly, and all these all these things. And I'm like, so good, because there's more and more and more and more. And the best thing is, like I told you the last time we talked, how Alan Steinfeld said it. They're not here as an invasionary force. They're not here as to intervene. They're midwives. Because
midwives. I like that.
The earth is birthing a new process, a new being. And that is the 5D earth that's being shifted into. That takes a birthing process, and the labor. That's what we're going through, is the labor, the age of Aquarius, the dumping of water. That's the water. It's just how it all culminated after that was said, and everything I was watching on it before. I was just like, whoa, just, man. Oh, somebody knows about some of these folks. That's awesome. So yeah, y'all go check them out. It's Global Peace Tribe. And,
okay, man.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. I mean, there is a fee if you follow people that get on into one of the talks. You might be able to have a link, but it's like a Zoom meeting, kind of like this, and you can participate too. I think like raise a hand to ask questions or chat with the panel. So. Beautiful stuff.
I imagine they've covered just about everything I've ever thought of, to be honest with you, between them.
They probably have, man. Like, so much. But yeah, just good things. I see someone's liking the quantum talk. We haven't got too deep in the quantum other than just the essential flow of time and reality. That's quantum enough, I guess, when you look at it, because it's just a river. And one of many.
Yeah, but it's a river that flows in every direction at once.
Yeah, like one of many. It's like, it has a source, and then it becomes the ocean. And who's to say which point is source? That's like a sphere. Every single point on a sphere is its center. Just that in itself, like, took me to that level of quantum thinking back in school, man. Like, when you look at geometry and you start to break it down in the simple facts, it makes the simple things astronomical, and it makes astronomical things simple. And I'm like, okay, this I like this. I like math. I like numbers. But I've had numbers pounded in my head since I could talk.
I don't get along with numbers at all.
I didn't, but my dad, he was, that was like his thing. He would throw fractions, decimals, all kinds of shit at me, and expect an answer like post haste. And he would have his he would have his calculator up, and I would have to spit him out an answer, and he would make sure it matched that calculator. You know, it's one of those things, and at first, you know, I used to hate it. Yeah, you know, it was like one of those, like, God, Dad, just, you know, like in a form of discipline, but it was all for a growing process.
Yeah.
And he attuned my mind to start using itself instead of using the tools.
Relying on a machine.
Right. And I'm so appreciative of that because.
Well, you see, I was born in 1970. And the calculator, I don't think came out until.
So you used the abacus?
Well, no, we used a pen and paper.
Well, yeah.
That's what we used, and a head.
To be honest,
and our head. So I grew up going right through school with no calculator, no computers. By the time I'd finished school, the first computer lab had just been built. Mm-hmm. At my large school, and I was leaving just in time not to use it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's I think that's a blessing, to be honest, because pen and paper is almost extinct right now, and I feel like that's the biggest shame in the world. Yes, it tears down trees, but look. We're not going to get rid of all the trees.
Always got a pen and paper next to me. Yes. Always.
Yes. Same books as last time, but they're right here.
Yeah.
Pens.
Yeah. It's where they belong, right?
Yes. On holstered, you know. The pen is mightier than the sword, but I still like my blade.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Did you see my swords?
I did not. When did you do that? Like, man, damn. I was just at my folks' house. I have all of my weaponry. I like it. Yes. It's a beautiful. Ooh.
It's even got all the markings on the blade.
Yeah, that's a real one. You know.
Yes.
Like, I have a refurbished Nagata, so it doesn't have an edge on it. It's still a wampum stick though, so it works. Ooh. I like the hilt on that one a lot. Is that like a midnight blue to it? Ooh, black steel. Nice.
See that?
Nice.
And it's got side blades.
Ooh. Okay. Hell yeah.
And a snorkel.
I do.
And a knuckle duster.
Yes.
All built into it.
Dude, that's wow.
Nice straight one.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
That would be the third blade that a samurai carried on his hip. Like usually.
And then of course there's that.
Nice. That's a zombie ganker right there. I don't care what anybody says. That is straight zombie and demon killer.
It is. It's for vampire hunting.
Yes, essentially, yes.
Definitely. We might even be doing that at some point. Who knows?
Man, you know, I've thought about that quite often at times. How easily this timeline could shift into one of fantasy and what we deem it to be. You know, that I hate bringing. Well, now I keep saying hate today. I don't like bringing up the negative aspect of like the fantasy-esque.
Well. Let's see what's on your mind, and I'm pretty sure that you, I, and the Lions can.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like when we look at what is deemed fantasy, right? Like, you know, mythological creatures. Well, there's plenty of evidence over the years that's been swept under the rug that, there are those otherworldly sightings of things. And then, hell, vampires are well documented. I mean, what I mean by well documented, I mean they've been utilized in warfare by one side or another to bring things to fruition, like specifically in Bolivia and Germany and Africa during World War II.
Have you seen Astana in Kazakhstan? Right.
You have to educate me.
Astana. Now, you're good with words and letters. Astana.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
There's definitely the dark one in there somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah. For numbers and letters. Yeah. Yeah.
It is the city. It is the city that they have built themselves ready for their great win.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right. That makes sense now. That makes sense.
If you do a Google search on Astana in Kazakhstan, as you come over the top of it, it's more like it's more almost an Atlantis kind of a thing. And if you manage to get some of the close-up shots, which there aren't many on it, it is so futuristic.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Nur Sultan is their word for it, I guess.
Okay.
Nur Sultan, but I typed in Astana and it brought this up. It's Nur Sultan is capital city of Kazakhstan.
Well, you remember when Borat did his films in Kazakhstan?
Yeah.
The whole idea, because he's a cabal puppet.
Yeah, yeah. Here,
was to show you how there's nothing in Kazakhstan, and it's boring and they're backwards whilst they build this city.
Yeah, and the backdrop. All right, so this is what I've pulled up just off the top, but looking over here, and here, like this right here, is very Atlantean, and so is the spire they have. It's kind of got like a robe around, picturesque, like a robe.
This one on the left in the middle is very Germanic or CCP like. The far one. The far one.
Oh yeah, this. One. Yeah. All right, so that right there is like straight up ancient Egyptian style build.
Or Roman.
Yeah, well, either or, but they're all the same, Babylonian style architecture. But okay, well, I wonder if this is real.
According to various sources, according to various sources, this is the place that they built themselves so that they could go off and live there. Right. Completely free of the rest of the world and just command the rest of the world from there.
Wow.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, very believable, actually.
It's built.
Yeah. Now, if this picture that I just showed right there at the end with the just
bird.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to leave that alone and let y'all do some digging on that because it's like it
speaks volumes, right?
It's blatantly, oh god,
so it's like they're not even hiding it, and the
I don't
people
think they ever really have. It's just been more so cloak and daggers, through various societies that they've implemented their agenda to, much like ones that y'all know of and that I know of that nefarious gain has corrupted, right? Not all of these things. Like the symbolism in this one picture that I'm looking at right now is profound, on so many different levels.
Yes.
Through my knowledge and through my experience. And
you know who's calling the shots via that picture.
Man, and the sad thing is, like, the same thing I said months and months and months ago. Let them, because the reason why I even dabbled in any kind of this shit was just to see how well they think they have a grasp on their own knowledge, right? And it still makes me laugh. Like, looking at I have this just shit-eating grin on my face because what they're implementing.
Yeah, now, I mean, really, but based on that picture, you should have like a big metal helmet on and a shield.
You really should.
You just should.
You should. At the same time, though, what I'm seeing as well is divine providence, because none of this would be happening unless it was gendered towards a highest good. And the reason why I say that, I know that doesn't sound nice or whatever, like I'm placating to it, whatever. The reason why I'm saying that is because the things that have been passed down from Babylon were much the same. All right, so this is in my book. Old magic was essentially Reiki, meditation, Tai Chi, and being one with yourself.
Yes.
And this comes from Atlantis, which was before the Babylon days, okay? And it was just a profound attunement to higher self. Since the fall of Babylon, I've seen them basically doing everything they can outside the box, within the box, destroy the box to get back to that place. And they're doing it through all kinds of just bad juju, right? Like, they're diving into the shadow saying, hey, I'm going to take you over so we can be one. The shadow's like, bring it, come on.
They're forcing the river.
Right. And it's so I harp on Doctor Strange all the time, but the cinematography was good, but like the nudges of esoteric information and knowledge that they put into that movie, well, because of the movie and the storyline behind it, like, you know, when they did those comics back in the day, that was pushing bounds, you know, but it was orchestrated and engineered for when it came out. You got to think, I think Doctor Strange kind of made its debut around the same time Captain Marvel did. And that was in a big debacle with DC, who had like Mr. Marvel or whoever it was. I can't remember, but the term Captain Marvel was owned by DC, and it was this big issue between the two comic book
marketing.
Right. Yeah. Because they basically disowned the franchise behind it. So Marvel was like, oh, we're taking that character, and they called him Captain Marvel. And basically it was going to be their one up on Superman. Well, all that kind of happened, you know, because officially the first Captain Marvel was Shazam. That's who it was. He said Shazam.
Have you seen the film?
Right. It is. And so, like, they did the Shazam movie, and they made a really hard jab at Marvel, like, like they had the comic books and stuff. It was funny. But anyways, so these latest few superhero movies they've given us, that especially goes out into space and starts breaking dimensional travel and stuff, they're telling you what we've been capable of since the get-go. And
can I just interject while you're right here?
By all means.
While you're right here on this subject.
By all means.
I watched a biblical channel the other week, and this guy, if I could find it, it's something I perhaps should have put up, but it blew my mind. And he brought all the characters right back to the beginning. As in, you've got Odin, the All-Father, which in Norse mythology is God. He's God, really. But when you understood Odin, the All-Father's power, you realized it was God they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the two closest things to God would be his sons.
Right.
And when you break down who had the power of thunder, it is Satan.
Yes.
They have portrayed Thor as a lovable hero when his real title is Satan.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he cracked the bowels of heaven, and that's when thunder was emitted. Not Lucifer, because Lucifer was cast down. Satan was he was the top dog in hell, next to Beelzebub, or Beelzebub, whatever you want to fucking call him, Baal, Baphomet. There was 6 basically deities that ruled hell, the 6 princes of darkness. Well, it was technically 7 once Lucifer got there. And kind
of like the Nazgals, if you like. You know where I'm going.
Yes. And it is funny because it's inculcated in every religious culture. It's the same story, just different names and different personas,
titles,
powers, whatever it may be, and
so or even down to just purely misinterpretation of a word from one language to another.
Yes, and in that sense, like Odin was Woden, because it brought woe. His presence was of that wrathful nature that the Old Testament looked to.
Yeah.
And what's bad is that kind of goes back, like me and you were talking about the Anunnaki, Enlil and Enki. Enlil was, I always get the two messed up, but like
Lilith, if you think about it in the Bible.
That was the sister that was with those two. They've always been present, and that's what I'm saying.
Was it Thoth, one of them?
Yeah, Thoth was his soul basically reincarnated as Thoth, and then again as Hermes Trismegistus.
Hermes, yes, and the emerald tablets and everything.
I'm very, very well. I'm not going to say I'm very, very, but I'm well versed in the emerald tablet. It got me on a whole new thing, and one of those poems that I had, or one of the prose I had that I sent you from antiquity, was a channeling from the emerald tablet, and it was because they call the Akashic record the halls of Amenti, and so these are stories that are as old as time, and they're just retold. And just like the book I'm writing, it's the same story. It's just told in a different perspective. And and what I'm doing with it is trying to connect the dots for people. I'm telling you a cool story. It's gonna be action. It's gonna be fantastic. There's magic. There's hippiness. There's there's good shit in it. Basically, what's that?
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Do you now? It's it's a great source of comfort for some people, and it's a great deal of worry for others. In as much as if the underworld is the reality that we consider it may be,
right?
Do you think there could be a time when we see creatures on this earth that actually come out into our reality and make nuisance of themselves, or warmongering or something like that? So fairies, okay. Some people love the idea of fairies.
They're real as well. It's that's what I'm saying. Like, my perspective is kind of skewed because I've experienced many things that don't fit into what we classify as reality.
Defy your logic.
Right. Exactly. I mean, tremendously. And that in itself has been a massive boon to my reality as well, because
Yes.
it's like, and it takes time to kind of reconcile with it on a psychological level. But also you have these synchronicities on the soul level that you're like, that happened. Like, this wasn't a fit of psychosis. This was much like Jung, how he encountered what he defined the anima, and it was the epitomal manifestation of his altered shadow. Like when he did the red books and stuff, when he was doing his own breakdown of his own psychosis, basically he basically made himself psychotic so he could figure out
so he could
yes
put it down on paper. I mean, Carl Jung was
way
quite brilliant at,
yes,
and again, another one of those opposing psychologies. In come Freud.
Yes, and Freud did everything to bring him down. He's like, oh no, the animal is just a manifestation of.
So you saying it's the same story over and over again, right? So look at Freud and Jung, people. Then look at Tesla,
yes,
and Einstein.
Yes.
Okay, that was a fight too. All these things have their equal and opposite in duality, and when we should have gone Tesla, the cabal pushed us Einstein.
Right. Okay. And Einstein wasn't even complete by himself.
No, because it was the theory of relativity.
Right. And
so it was only a theory, it was proof of nothing.
When you go through the theory of relativity, it never worked. And
no.
That's why he never published it until somebody said, why do you have to have a constant? So he basically...
He made space the constant.
Right, instead of gravity. Now, there is a gravitational constant, and then that made the door open up for a theory, and people don't know that too well because it's not talked about. It's like, oh, he made that. And like
the measurement problem.
Yes.
It all comes into play the moment you start messing around with theoretical physics.
Yes.
And
you have to.
And Tesla had it absolutely on the nail. The best we ever could have had it.
369. Yeah. These are the power codes to the grid, because just like what we were talking about, like Nitz even mentioned that I like to talk about. I'm going to talk about it again. The double slit experiment on the quantum scope. I mean, you can't really not talk about it when you're discussing relativity and all this, because that's how time flows in waves of intermingling ripples. Now, like I was saying, as two waves will hit each other, it's a phenomenon in out in space. There'll be like square miles of literal squares in the ocean. How waves are hitting each other in opposite directions, the currents, and it makes, I can't remember the exact term for it, but it's like you don't go there. Like, but it makes
they're called the something stones.
Yeah, I mean, it's an actual.
It's not the Devil's Causeway part of it.
No. I mean, it probably happens there. I'm just saying it's a phenomenon that happens in water, where two currents are opposing, and there's like a third incoming one, and it makes literal squares of waves. Like a wave will be pushing this way, and a wave will be pushing this way, and it looks like a grid system within that surface of the ocean. Now, Tesla found this in the electromagnetic field, and that's where the 369 comes from. That's the gaps, the squares that are made when ripples flow across each other. Like
back to nature, you see.
Yeah, it's nature.
Back to nature. The whole thing. What do they call it, with the increasing circle that comes out, and it's the divine number.
The Merkaba, the God symbol, basically, or
no, as it starts in the middle like a sort of quaver, and goes round. What do they call it? symmetry, flowers, everything is caused by it. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Somebody help.
Yeah.
On the chat.
What the hell are we talking about?
What the hell are we talking about? Because we haven't got a damn clue. The golden ratio.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's what I was trying to think of. Golden ratio.
Universe, yeah. You know, when we were changing around the tapestries and stuff, I have one that is a big spiral, and it's the fractal spiral. How, and the wildest thing that I've seen, like on the quantum side, is when they look at consciousness and how consciousness functions on a dynamic scale. Like if you literally were to take your thoughts into a 3D printer and then put them under a microscope, it's the same pattern in different microscopic levels. Like on the quantum, everything that is quantum is going to be manifested on like this physical plane, right? In the same construct. So the weird thing was everything that is an organism exhibits the same fractal nature.
Did you see how Gans water does this?
I didn't. I know about the frequency patterns with water and how certain, and it's kind of simple, but
they did a test with Gans water. They treated it in this certain way and put it in a tank. And what they did was somebody dipped a key into the water one end, and then let it all flow down the other end. And when they measured and marked something they did with the water, it gave them that information back. Gans water actually gave them the shape of the key that was dipped into it earlier. I don't know how they measured that or how they did that. I'd love to know more about it. But they're saying literally this water has a memory.
Yeah, it does. It does. And it's funny you say that too, because I look at that line of thinking much like our DNA. How there's intrinsic genetic memory. And I keep harping on like the myth and the fantasy of what's been showed to us throughout this reality. But you really got to understand how much truth is veiled in fiction. Why
you can store terabytes of information on your DNA.
Yeah, that's one segment. And even though we're probably a culmination of 3 or 4 sequences in all, they replicate. And they kind of slowly twist themselves in different ways due to that first.
So they're a little ball of information, and then they thread again and do it again.
Right. Yeah. And I think DNA manipulation, besides what we know agenda based, I'm saying like us personally.
Yeah.
How not really manipulation, but realization. That's a better word for it. DNA realization. Getting in tune with that true physical interself, like not the spiritual side. It is connected to the spiritual side because like that God code is imprinted on our DNA. But taking the molecular level, like doing a just really deep dive meditation, and instead of going into the void space within the mind, tell your being, I want to travel my body. And I'm talking about you can surf the neural network. You can go into bone marrow. You will see things that biology and chemistry class could never teach you, just because you're only looking at a facet of the whole diamond when you look at those little microscopic, scopes. Just the little, either whatever's in the petri dish or whatever's on the slide. That's one facet. Right. And it very well might have the coding of the whole, just like one sequence of DNA can.
Yeah.
But there's so much more. And once you, oh man, dude, good stuff. Like, yeah, I've done that travel through myself twice. And the first time it actually had like physical repercussions, because I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, that's why I also like to talk about some of this stuff, is because it's more exploratory experience than knowledgeable experience, because it's like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm new to this. Give me a moment. Yeah.
Right, right. So it ends up being a roller coaster ride, and sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're not. But yeah, that first time I kind of just went through, it was like all the little tweaks and aches and pains were very, very vibrant. It was like, instead of going over them like in a Reiki session and healing them, I was like poking them, because, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, oh, hey, what's that red spot?
Yeah, what's that do?
Yeah. I was like, oh, there's a button here. And I hid in the candy store. And then, like, when I came back out and centered, I could try to get up off the floor, and it was like, my body started shaking. I was in tremors, and it's like almost
you'd messed with things that you shouldn't have.
Right. I was like, I almost had to like vomit, that evil, that dark energy. It's because you were poking and prodding when you weren't supposed to.
Yeah. How interesting is that? Now, how about, because you mentioned, this is a bit daring for me.
Okay.
In a big way, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to put myself on the line for you all. And I wanted to do a little beta test, really, to figure out if what I can do on call.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah, I think I am. What you got?
So,
well, do I need to prepare?
Say again.
Do I need to prepare?
No.
Well,
absolutely not.
Give you a beautiful ting. How about that? All right.
Absolutely not. I'm going to attempt something right now on live, and I could get it all wrong. And if I don't feel like anything's coming at all, I will say I've got nothing.
All right.
Because that's good with me. Now, I know you have a great deal of energy already in your card deck.
Yes. I've been shuffling most this whole time. So
okay. So it would make sense to me to try and home into something you have a strong connection to.
Okay.
So I believe it's a card.
All right. Which one? You want me to hold it up?
I'm not even bothered. Pick a random card somewhere out the deck. Don't show it me.
All right.
But hold it up in front of your face, and I want you to absolutely. What's that?
Now this is the back of it. This is the card. But
that's the back of the card.
Yes.
Right. So you've got a card in your hand. If you pop it down in front of you, just in front of you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I want you to pop your left hand on it, if you wouldn't mind, and I want you to envisage the card. Very, very, very detailed. Very, very detailed. Envisage that card.
Gotcha. I already know what you're doing, so I'm happy for this. I don't think you're going to have any mess-ups.
Oh, I do. I'm not saying I would be able to do this.
I know full well that you're capable. So,
well, first of all, I can tell you straight away, I'm seeing green and brown.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of green and brown. There's a face on that card. It looks like,
in a way, yes.
Well, I'm kind of almost getting like a bust figure of a
you're rounding out. So you're seeing like the silhouette. I'll give you that.
Okay, yeah, like a bust on a plinth.
Yep.
Is what I'm getting.
And you're not wrong.
And I keep almost getting like almost like a face, like a bit of a William Shakespeare kind of a face. I don't know what that is, but
that might be my envisioning of it. But can I show it to you?
Well, yeah, it's the best I can do. Oh my life.
So this is the compass, and it actually came up in Nick's drawing. I literally
like a bust, I said, on a plinth.
It's like a bust on a pedestal, so it would be, and that would be the bust, and it is covered in greens and browns and maroons. The actual compass itself is brown, and like the energy that's coming off of it is tinges of green and maroon.
I'm really warm. I've gone so utterly warm. It's incredible.
Hey, all right. So what you just did, if I may kind of indulge on it, so what we did was y'all have all known Tricky to be a profoundly gifted man, even though it came from you really are. Even though it came from unfortunate circumstances, I've seen you've grown, healed, and it's been a boon to you. You're very intelligible about auras. All right. So the essential thing of Reiki is being able to tune into those energies. And he asked me to basically open up a energetic portal so he could look into it and see what I was seeing.
Right.
And that's what we just did. So,
right.
Yes. I mean, you did exactly what you were wishing to do. Hey, man.
I didn't want to do it to prove a point to anybody that I can do it.
No,
I wanted to do it to test myself.
Right. Well, hey, we have to test ourselves. That's part of it. So since you asked for that, that'll be our first card draw.
And what number was that card by choice?
50.
50. I'm 50. That's bizarre.
Serendipity, my friend.
That's bizarre, right, guys? You've got to give me some feedback on that, guys, in the chat, because that's mental. And that card could have been so many things. Wow, that's an interesting one for sure.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah. Do you know how that joke? You know how that whole thing got started?
What, the beautiful things?
Yeah.
I imagine from that and the first time you heard it in the chat. I don't know where essentially it came from, but
no, it has a birthing.
I want to hear the birthing story.
Well, somebody was on about do you play any instruments in one of the chats? It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I put, well, I used to play the triangle in a reggae band. I used to stand at the back and ting. Right.
It's beautiful.
That's how it started.
And
and Jenna really caught on to it, and next thing you know, it was a complete ting.
It is a complete thing. Yes. So Jenna actually just said that was your card, and I really think it is, because all right, so kind of give a little reading of what the compass symbolizes.
Okay.
We talked about it just before you came on too with Nick's reading. It came up. This was his second card actually. So the pinnacle of keeping true north, true to self, true to that moral compass, that ethereal compass, keeping it towards true north, and what you focus and envision yourself to be and embody, your higher power will attune to that and bring it to fruition. And that's why having that compass. So everybody just take a moment, open up your left hand, palm up, and hold that compass. Just
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
And as you hold it, ask that question that you ask yourself from time to time. I don't know what it is, and I don't have to know. See where that compass starts to point. See where it starts to radiate. I guarantee that's your true north.
Test yourself. Ask it something you hate having to even ask yourself.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Ask the question that you ask yourself often, but never give yourself the answer to.
Yeah.
Hold that, because, man, thank you. That was, so good.
Well, I can tell you straight. I've said it once, said it a million times. My head damage really caused me to need a morality in the people I meet.
Hey. Well,
no,
not to intercede on that, just the vulnerable nature that it presented you with. You would need to attend to that, just because, there are folks that will provide service or provide nurturing as vampires. And it's probably we were asking about that, but and that comes from a faulty compass. Because many folks are pulled to serve, and that's fine. Service is good. Just as many folks will start to construe that service to self-gain. And that's a bad compass.
Let me tell you a little story about something that happened to me while I was in the hospital.
Please do.
And it was the most unusual, beautiful moment that you could ever imagine, because I wasn't quite with it anyway still. So I still had an impact from the stroke. And all I could think the whole time was, I've got a catheter in.
Yeah.
And do you know that catheter in played on my mind more than anything else, because I knew it had to come out.
Oh, man.
Right? So I'm sitting there, I'm lying there one night, and I kind of, something just stirs you and you wake up. And I looked across, and the silhouette in the window of this little old lady. And I said, oh, hello, what can I help you? And she said, no, I'm here to sort your catheter out, young man. And I thought, oh no, and the dread come over my face. I thought, she's going to take it out. And I said, well, go on then, just do it. And she went, well, I already have, sweetheart.
It's gone. Your mind was perpetuating the despair that you thought or expected.
And I leant forward and I kissed her. Square plum on the forehead. I just kissed her and I went, thank you so much. She says, you're welcome, darling. And off she went.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself,
have you seen her since?
Never.
Well, that was one of those angels that just comes by. And
well, in that case, I've had two of those moments. I've had two.
I bet you've had a few, to be honest.
No, I've had two.
We don't always recognize.
Ones that I can say were definitely
out
of the ordinary.
Just there.
I hitchhiked all over Europe as a young man. Mm-hmm. And I remember on the way back up, money was getting short. I was tired. I'd been traveling for days to get back up. And I was on the bridge, which looks straight at the Eiffel Tower. So there's a big bridge over the river. And there is the Eiffel Tower. And I stood on the bridge and I looked at the water, and I just started to have a little bit of a bit of a cry because I was thinking I just want to be home now.
Mm-hmm.
And a hand come on my shoulder, and I turned around, and it was this big American, and he was big. I mean, he had a proper sun hat on all the way around.
Yeah.
A Hawaiian shirt, a pair of sort of longish shorts, and he was wearing white socks with trainers. And he was larger than life, and I mean the Hawaiian shirt was red. So, and I'm saying this for a reason. You'll realise why in a second. He said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Well, I'm just still a long way from home." I said, "No, I'm missing home." I said, "I'm heading back now." I said, "But it's all getting a bit." He said, "Are you okay for money?"
Mm-hmm.
And at that very time, I'd have been lying if I'd have said yes.
Right.
I went, "Well, I haven't got much," and he shoved 20 francs into my hand, which is sort of about 20 pounds, if you like.
Yeah.
And he went, "There you go. Think nothing of it." He says, "You get yourself home." And I turned back round and leant on the bridge just to gather myself for a moment, to turn back and go, "Thank you so much."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he wasn't there.
That was one of those passerbys.
And I'm 6'1", so I could see most of the crowd. And this guy's a big guy in a red Hawaiian shirt.
Gone.
And he's neither there, or there. And we're on a bridge.
Yeah. Totally gone. Yeah.
All the hairs have just stood up on the back of my neck again.
I got the goosebumps. Like I feel like a porcupine when that happens. Like your whole back just starts going.
Yeah, all prickles up.
Yeah.
It's that has got to have been one of the most profound moments I've ever had, because it was uber realistic. It wasn't not there.
Yeah, it happened. Yes.
And then of course, after my stroke, and I came back as good as I am for a bloke that's had a stroke. Some of you may have noticed that this eye is slightly lower than this eye. And I speak quite a lot from, like, I put it on then, but just talking out of this side of my mouth, it has had a little impact on me, but nothing to write home about. What was I saying, dude?
Well, we were talking about the realness of it and the impact and how well you're doing. And honestly, if no one knew your story, and unless they were medically gendered towards,
you wouldn't know, would you?
You would never know.
Nope.
I mean, and that's a beautiful thing. I don't want to harp on the subject either, but we had a stroke victim yesterday, and yeah. So you're a blessing. You really are. And
I was. Oh, that's it. I was saying after my stroke, I kind of knew I was being looked after.
Yeah, I mean, you got purpose.
They've helped me all the way.
You have purpose. Like, I tell folks, the reason why I'm a blessed man is because I've not been here a time or two, and I'm still here. So, God's looked after me, and for that, I am a blessed man, and I walk with Him every day. And you are very much so the same, because you can drop a dime in the ocean, and that'll be how many times, looking at you for the aftermath, there's the gap there between that and how far you've come along and how well and blessed you are today.
You see,
that's a gap that
what a lot of people out we get by with videos like these, like the ones I make, like the
Yeah.
ones Nick makes. We get by the Telegram, and we all interact via there. And when I actually stopped and thought about it, I thought, these guys have stopped me from having one of my quite dark moments.
Well, that's
because every now and then I'm reminded that I'm a 50-year-old stroke survivor.
Yeah.
And the pain will kick in, and
right.
all that dark energy will pile on. As soon as it sees me start to just falter just a little bit, it just piles on. And I have extremely dark moments, or should I say I have had extremely dark moments, because let me tell you something now, guys, out there in Chatland. You and Thomas and Nick and just all of you, just everybody, you have kept me out of that horror show for a few months now, and I'm no longer having to go there, which is for me such a blessing. Because the thing I get upset about most is when I let myself get upset. That's what upsets me. And I haven't felt that for ages. And you guys, you are very, very much a catalyst in that. You have been the light that I have needed, and you're all absolutely blessed. I swear you are. You're blessed.
Yes, we are.
I love you so much, all of you. You as well, Thomas.
I want to reciprocate that to you, my friend. I'm getting a little choked up just because what you're speaking on is the mirror reflection of yourself and how much you've been a blessing, how much you've healed us. Just your presence, like I said when you first came on, it's a boon, you know. I've stepped away to help kind of be a conduit, and you've been ever present, and that's invaluable. That's priceless. Your presence. You are a blessed man, and you are a blessing to all of us, and we love you.
Thank you, guys. Thing. Thank you. It is a beautiful thing. You're right. Thank you, guys. We pretty well have sorted out between us what are the most important things, and love has got to be right there, right at the top.
Radiant love, and I see it as it's physical in nature, like you said, the presence, the videos, the chats, the den, all
it's tangible, all tangible stuff,
and that speaks volumes to me and to the global collective, because it's not just us too. You know, there's pockets like us all over doing this, feeding that love. And that's what I've been saying, like, you know, ever since I started this channel, I'm saying, guys, I feel the goodness. It's because I've been tuned into, you know, several others and watching the growth of that community, watching the growth of our community, watching the growth of the Lions. Like, and like you said, love is pivotal in that.
Paramount, absolutely paramount.
And making it tangible allows for it to be inculcated and embodied in day-to-day life, like you're saying. Otherwise, you know,
you will be surprised. You will be surprised to find out through self-exploration that many disasters that have been in your life, you are the common factor. there are some things that have been totally out of our control, and I understand that because I've had that happen myself. There are some things that are out of our control. That's a different story. But sometimes the choices you make are not the right ones for you, and you must almost step back over yourself and go, hang on a minute, wrong turn, wrong people, sorry, move on, you know.
And that doesn't come easily ever. I mean, not ever, but not easily in the sense that, you know, just like the card says, taking that seat of awareness, you know, that's the ideal.
Isn't it? You know? Isn't it just?
Right. You know, and, you know, sad to say that part of my journey was a lot of those missed turns or wrong turns. You know, I should have taken that left. Well, there's a right up here. I can loop around and get back there.
I've driven many a wrong avenue.
Man, you know, and hell, I get lost on a straight road. So it's like one of those things. But yeah, it's beautiful you say that, because what is the common denominator in all life struggles?
Yeah, it's us.
Where you stand.
It's us. Can I take this moment, dude?
Oh, man. The moment.
Just as you said that, I was going to read a poem on a stream tonight, and I've got it all set up. I can't think of anything better than perhaps hitting you up with it.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I would absolutely love it. Please do.
All right. Well,
as you're doing so, I've requested the chat, so you go, and yeah, I got you.
Okay. It was just that that self-realization thing, and this kind of fits into exactly that. So this is called Change Begins Inside of Me. That's exactly what it's called. All right. Not a good enough purchase on life I had. It just slipped through my fingers and left me mad with a thought to all those material things and the joy that only letting go brings. My tears of life don't show up in the rain. Round peg in square hole, you can feel my pain. The beat of life's drum sounds different to me. My head, the wound to my mentality. Can't change what I am, what I have become. This world that I live in seems complex to some. But in wanting the world to be less of a mess, I'm showing you all an act of random kindness. Change to this world down the barrel of a gun, a reason to pray or a reason to run. In Eden, in my Eden, nobody needs to have fear. It's safe and it's warm and it's ever so clear. And the way to this place, oh yes, there's a knack. You just look in the mirror and it'll be looking back.
My dude.
Yeah, just thought, because she said it's a reflection of yourself, you know, the end of that just fitted with it, and I thought it was a good place to slot it in.
You know what's absolutely amazing that goes with this? So I asked the chat to give me a number for the draw, and there were several that popped up. 7 stuck out.
I saw loads of numbers coming up. I weren't sure what was happening, but I saw that.
All right, well, I shuffled 7 times, and what fell out was the One Ring Circus. And it's 15. And basically it's meaning like how we epitomize like the goings on of the world, and how all of it's happening to me. But the One Ring Circus, it's all our own show.
Yeah. And by the way, 15th is my birthday. Boom.
Yeah, see, like I said, it's not me, it's you. Absolutely beautiful poetry, my friend. Like, so many big bombs. Just oof.
It was a culmination of the emotions that were running through me back in 2009.
You can feel
and the beauty of it is we're in 2021 and I can go back and I can read how my former self saw it all.
Yes.
And then I can fix the problems.
Yes.
So whatever you think isn't worth writing down, one day you'll look at it and it'll change your whole existence.
Write it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. If I may, I feel like I have one to share. I know I sent it to you.
Yeah.
But I feel like one will kind of coincide quite well because it's from the past. And yeah, let me see if I can find it. Did you get that I sent to you? I emailed it a while back. I'm not sure.
I think I did, but I'm on my iPad. It's on my laptop down there. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've definitely had the email off you with it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me.
Somebody just said happy birthday to me. It's not my birthday today.
Hey, it's birthday every day.
Yeah, it's May. My birthday is in May. Thanks, though.
All right, so this was called Dreaming of Reality. I hear the cackle of thunder ring across the bleak night sky as I lay motionlessly numb on the cold, hard ground. My eyes undaunted by brilliant flashes of lightning. I stare solemnly at the heavens. I feel no pain, yet I know my body suffers, as well as my soul. Tingling sensations in my chest spur my nervous system. I urge my body to move, summoning every ounce of strength in my being. However, my efforts are met with disappointment. My body limp while my mind fires with explosive intensity, heightening my senses. Am I dying? Is this what death feels like? Slow motion in which every millisecond is an eternity of reminiscence. Is it so? How pathetic I must look right now, lying here immobile and alone. No one is witness to my passing. No notion of heroics on my behalf can be said. No headstone to mark my existence. Am I a shade cursed to invisibility among my peers? Though pointless it may be, I still care, even if only subtle. Left at the mercy of the elements, this lifeless corpse shall rot away. The world, unwavering in its revolution and unaware, shows no emotion. It is fitting, I suppose, no use in fretting the inevitable. I feel the wind rustle my hair. I hear the crickets chirp. Burnt flesh profoundly assaults the smell of air so terribly, I nearly gag. Suddenly I realize true pain in the form of fourth degree sprouting from the center of my chest. Racked with pain, my body writhes uncontrollably. An overload of nerves threatens to send me into oblivion, but for some reason I hold on. Enduring torment, I wish for relief. As if answers to prayers, my brain sends my body into shock, and I am saved only to bear new horrors. Expecting the end, I am struck with despair beyond comprehension. One thought persists in what is left of my conscious mind, the cherished possession I love so deeply. Everything else diminishes in comparison. Few can honestly relate to this. The thought of connection never made envelops my soul with burning agony. Unbearable is this pain I must endure for atonement for past sins. Forever my greatest regret, it shall plague me, as it is also my legacy. And so it finally comes to pass. colors fade from my eyes as I feel death's hands clutch my throat. I am heaved from the ground, dangling as a rag doll. Accepting my fate, I let go only to feel loathing, burning sensation in my chest and pouring with sweat. I awake to an experience, emptiness and mind-boggling warp. The hole in my chest grows and aches even with a blink. Why am I alive? Am I doomed to suffer in despair? I am a shade amongst my peers, and a shell of a man I should be. What reality does sentient form possess? Was all of it naught to Nanks? Did I truly just die, and this is my passing? Or was it a vivid dream? Or is this a dream? What reality am I in? I feel the pain the moments ago took my life, now stirs as if I lost a piece of myself somewhere.
That reads back to me like a battle you once fought.
It was. That was a reminiscence of hell and why I put myself there. So yeah. It's reading it.
Somebody should make a short film of that, because the imagery was fantastic. I tried to follow as much of it as I could with visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, as you said it, and I knew exactly where you were, mate, in that dark place.
Yeah, it was, and like I said, that was quite some time ago, and reading back, it does kind of, put the sense of almost dread, but at the same time, the distance that has been traveled, the blessings that have been given, the growth that has been made, that was an unequivocal dark place and time. It has moved past that. These are those things that sometimes it takes a lifetime for that to happen, and sometimes it never does.
We've all got to realize, by me writing mine, by Thomas writing his down, for looking back on it, the only thing that Jesus ever really wanted of us was to know thyself.
Yeah.
Know thyself.
Yes. And the journey that has inculcated this self, because without that journey, I'll be frank, I feel a little vulnerable reading that, because that's the first time I've read it since I put it into computer format. That was written a actual long time ago on paper, and then I did transfer it and I made it into, I think I even probably submitted it for one of my college portfolios.
Yeah,
I know I did one, and like the first half of it was really kind of dark like that. Like, that's a lot of my writing back then was that esque.
Well, you are a great user of metaphor. Well, you drop everything into metaphorical terms.
Yeah. I mean, you need to, because
put it in a language everybody understands.
Right. Otherwise, you're speaking of experience outside of the experience is daunting, I think would be a good term for it, because you can always relive that experience, especially when you're focusing on it or reiterating it. And in that living of the experience again, the experience is lost to the audience, if that makes sense. Yeah. So because I can feel myself kind of like tunneling back down that avenue, and like, oh, that was a long road, like how you said, that was one of those avenues where and that time is like when you look back and everything feels right, and you see there's boo kudos to people, and you're like, yes, all right, we're on the right path.
Yeah.
There was more than just boo kudos to people. It was like a plethora of souls that were on this same avenue. And it was like, words really cannot describe that experience.
No.
I mean, like, essentially, that was my foretellings of hell in the sense of what it did to this body. And
and there again, your mind made another metaphor for simply look how many people are on the wrong path.
Yes, and countless. Like,
and what can we do about it?
Yeah, and I think that's what really kind of helped change me is witnessing what so many have been misled towards.
Yeah.
And the pain and the anguish that's been there, and
the matrix.
Yes, and it's perpetuated there. And it's like, living and witnessing and experiencing and moving past and through that, it gives you that perspective. Like, you wouldn't wish that on anyone. Anyone. And that's where that healing process begins, and moving forward in not only forgiveness and gratitude and acceptance. But yeah, that's my three. That's my three.
I was on material row.
Yeah.
In my previous life, before my stroke, I do refer to it as that. So if ever I say my previous life, you know where I'm going. I'm going pre-stroke.
Well, it was a totally different life, right? Because
totally, utterly. For all I know, they could have switched me off for a couple of 3 weeks and turned me on in a completely different timeline. I wouldn't know any different.
Right.
Other than my daughter is the only constant, and a fine human being she's growing up to be. An absolutely solid human being.
How was that? Can I ask? Because that was around the time of seeing the darkness and doing my best to kind of come more towards the light because of my daughter. And how has that journey and that growth, as you've seen it, been for you? I want to ask.
Yeah, I mean, don't they alter everything you choose to do? Because you go, for me, she's my everything.
Mm-hmm.
I promised that when I brought her into this world, that when me and her mother split up, I wouldn't have any more children. Because if you got it absolutely so spot on the first time, why would you try and do it again?
That's a beautiful way of putting it. Because
and she is an angelic human being. Mm-hmm. She has empathy in barrel loads.
Oh man.
She is strong of will and gentle with it.
Mm-hmm.
I gave her a power name, as it happens. I chose a name for her that gave her somewhat of a head start on free thinking.
Gotcha.
There was a suffragette from England who, when fighting for human rights, women's rights especially, she chained herself to the railings of Parliament. And her name was Millicent Garrett Fawcett.
Oh.
Fawcett.
Nice.
Well, my girl is Millie May Fawcett. So she instantly had the name of a very, very independent, strong and powerful woman who has a statue up of herself in London. So, yeah, power to her. She's going to be, she's blessed.
She is blessed. She is blessed. Much like you, I really believe blessings in the sense of profound nature also pass through genes and legacies, just like, you know, the trauma of ancestral trauma can pass through. Right. So can blessings and abundance. And how you see it in your daughter, I see it in mine as well. You know, we're distant because, you know, me and her mother aren't together.
Same.
There is no distance between my heart and hers. You know, I can feel it. She's still young and she's still growing. But how she has grown and what she's growing into, I see limitless potential. And oh man, the angels that are with her, you know, it's you know, she's got all of me that I would want to give a child, and she's got all of her mother that can combat me. You know, that because like I could be a bit much, and I see it in it.
It's absolute.
Absolutely.
You got just the right amount of me and her mother.
Right.
She's all the strengths from a mom who is a very, very strong Aryan woman.
Right.
She got them. She's got fire, but she's got diplomacy in heat that just lets them fires just simmer.
Right.
And it gives her a warmth. And she said, I'm thankful on the mix I am of you and mum. So, you know, she even realizes it.
And the last time we had our time together was over Christmas, and she finally got to meet Amelia, and it was awesome. You know, Amelia was a little worried that, oh, was that a show? Because her mama told her to be nice. I was like, no, she likes you. Like, yeah, like that girl's not gonna play pretend on anything.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like close to her heart. So, like, you know, it was just a boon for me. I was ecstatic the whole day. And you know, she's had kind of trouble with the grasping of the technicalities between the dynamic, as it were. But I'm starting to see that, you know, as much as it pains her, she has that understanding. You know, it's an understanding that's kind of beyond her years, so she's not really quarreling with it, you know, not molding it, but it's there. And I'm thankful for that, because I know in time and as growth happens, it will, you know, come to fruition, and that it's as it should be. It might not be the way we want it.
Look,
right.
It's divine guidance through you, sir.
It is. And, you know, when I see her, and it's just, hold on one second. I have to get something, by the way. She likes little arts and crafts, and so does Amelia. And I think it's awesome because the similarities between my twin flame and my daughter is profound. And it's like, oh God, like the women that I'm surrounded by are all either all inculcated as my lover, my mother, and my daughter all in one. If that sounds super strange, I know, but it's like how things have happened, and how it's, you know,
you're learning from all of them as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It really is. It's a beautiful team. But instead of my team, since we're talking about it, I have this little green bell, and she has one. And she says, ring it anytime you miss me. I ring it every day. But since we're talking about it, we need to give her a little good shout out.
I haven't seen my daughter for it's 7 months.
Oof.
Because of all these lockdowns. But, you know, she's been on the phone to me twice today.
Beautiful.
So we speak nearly every day.
Right. Good. See, we're getting to that point. You know, she's pushing the subject on, like, she wants that to happen more. And just with conflicting schedules between me and her mom, it becomes difficult. I mean, such is. And I was very, had a lot of angst built up, I would say, over that for like the first 2 years.
Yeah.
And I mellowed out quite a bit. And we've become a lot more civil. And not that we weren't, it was just that tension, you know.
Yeah.
It was very thick. I mean, it was butter thick. And there was not a knife to cut it. So, but it's melted out because, you know.
I remember that really well.
Yeah, so it's like that warmth you're talking about within your daughter. Did that not help melt some of that butter? Because, man, I've noticed it has, you know, because like I can look at her and just be right with the world. You know, like, you know, if everything in my life has been wrong, I got one thing right.
Absolutely. I've thought it myself. I thought, if I've done nothing else, I've planted another seed that's going to do great things.
Yes. That's what I'm getting at. And she's asked about my channel because she's into YouTube. And last time we were hanging out, it was, "You have a YouTube?" I was like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah.
I was a little wary of exposing her this soon.
Yeah.
Just because
it absolutely poke holes in her logic.
Yes. Yeah. And I, as her father, didn't want to do that.
All right.
But as me, I'm all about it. So it's like, yes, keep asking the questions. Yeah. I won't give you the answers, but please keep asking the questions.
Yeah, keep asking. Yeah, I understand it. Well, my daughter's just turned 18 back in August, and that couldn't have been better timing for. See, I was worried that her mum, being such a mainstream media freak, and the world is exactly what it portrays itself to be, would have got her Vaselined, you know.
Yeah.
The Vaseline.
Oh man, slipped right in the bunghole.
Yeah, and yeah, and
the shivers.
So now she's 18, she has the choice. It means her mum doesn't have to sign her in, and she's anti Vaseline all the way. I'm glad to say.
Good. You don't need the extra grease.
Nope. Go in dry.
Lick it and stick it if it's not working.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's
This is a completely different conversation or a different timeline. Did we just slip timelines, people? Right?
We did just slip timelines.
It totally glitched there. Yeah. That was like Neo seeing a cat twice in the Matrix. Okay.
Yeah. It's like, the fuck you just say? Deja vu?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We have to run.
We're back. We're back in the room.
We're running.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, we were perhaps due to get some endorphins going by having a bit of a laugh at that point.
Oh, man, yeah. I see it in the chat, dude. That's.
I've got no spit in my mouth to even lick my Rizzler with.
Ah. Here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, got enough now.
Yay.
Hey.
Oh, I feel like it's a good time for
pulling some cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What they got for us? We've hit some really good highballs, and Let's. Oh.
Is it preferential for somebody to have a question for you? Do you need something to respond to?
That depends, because some cards fall out when I shuffle like this, and they fall out. They all have a message.
Yeah.
And I had 4 come up.
You've had 4.
Huh?
4 cards.
Yeah, 4 cards, because I was shuffling. And, all right. So, oh wow. Okay. All right. So we'll take the first 2 where your divinely guided picks, being 50 in the compass and then 15 in the One Ring Circus, and how that was emblematical of our earlier talk.
If there's a number 5 there, I'm going to pass out.
Well, let me add them up real quick, because it might add up to 5. It adds up to, I want to say 132. So that's going to be 6. But, all right, so we have 24, 34, 44, 40.
Wow.
And it goes from being stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
To finding that spark.
Right.
Letting that spark inculcate our strength.
Right.
And then following the lead, following the leader, following the lead, following the path, basically.
Which, the avenue, yeah, if you want to, yes.
Well, this is littered with fairies and nature, and it goes into a tree that has the time clock in it. You know,
have you drawn these for me, or just for?
I was just drawing.
Yeah, well, it sounds like my upcoming trip to America.
Hey, and then stuck in the mud, and then the spark to get out of the mud, realizing strength and following the leader.
Yep. Yep.
I'll do
just like that
for you. I'll do a third one for you. I'm weird. I get OCD about numbers. And I saw somebody said something like, "What was wrong with me if I've been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD?" No and yes. I firmly believe that I am somewhere along the spectrum, but that's because I traveled the spectrum in various senses of the word, and yeah, it leaves a mark. So I might be a little altered and afflicted. I'm fine with it though, so don't worry.
I'm good with my affliction as well.
It's just another day, to be honest. 18 trains and riding all of them. So
yeah, we are. I mean, not to say we are all on the autism spectrum somewhere.
Somewhere, yes. Here's your
we all have a little bit of OCD and a little bit of we prefer it that way, and it's just little things like that just show you're on the spectrum somewhere.
So
what was that? What was that card?
You're asking for a 5, right?
Is there a 5?
You got a 54, and it is encouragement. Encouragement, yes, boom.
I'm encouraged. I'm fully encouraged.
Yes. Dude. Beautiful things.
Yeah. 5 and 4 is 9, which is the
9 plus the 1 and 5 is 6, so 15 plus the 5 0, 50, 65, or 1 and 1, or that would all inculcate to 20, which is 2. 1 and 1 is 2. Man, aren't numbers cool?
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Numerology is pretty interesting, even though I don't like numbers very much.
You can twist your brain that way, though. Like, I've hurt myself getting into all the numbers and stuff, and there's a couple of different channels that break down all the numbers of the political schemes and all that. the days they do things, the certain times they come. Yeah, they get into it. And the cool thing about numbers is they are inculcated in everything. It's a mathematical universe. Bad thing about numbers is you can make them be whatever you want them to be.
Yes.
Like I've said it before, but my dad is the one that says it. There's 3 types of lies: lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Yeah, nobody likes anybody's damn lies, do they?
No. We all
absolutely
got
not.
And we all
absolutely not.
Oh,
I'm just reading some of the chat because I haven't really been taking much. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm a proper one-trick pony.
I've been doing my best to kind of keep aware, but at the same time, it's been a good chat too. You know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put these away. So we had 24, 34, and 40. 24, 34, 44, and 40 for the scope of things, really. And then tricky in years that was divinely guided, it was 50, 15, and 54. Yeah, so good numbers.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
1, 3, 2, I believe it was. And yeah. And then 2. So, ooh, that would actually equal 8 altogether, and that would be the infinity. Forever,
yeah.
ever. Oh man, so good. I like doing this.
Pulling them out of nowhere tonight.
Oh man, it's like, you know, it's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, random.
Yes. And in all good times.
Hi, Jody, Terry. Hi, Jenna. Hi, Shauna.
Yes.
Hi, Vic.
We've got quite the gathering, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, Yellowstone grown. You made some lovely comments on my little YouTubes. Thanking you very much. And Laluva girl. Leilu. Leilu, that was the
I've
name
had the hardest time actually saying that as well.
And me.
Laluva. I always thought it was La Lava or
Lulu. I keep thinking I'm going to mess it up and sound rude or something. Yeah, if I do it. But I like Leilu because that was her name out of the Fifth Element.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Speaking of movies, y'all go watch that. That'll get you out there and you're thinking that.
Oh, get your synapses is firing, yeah.
Oh man, definitely. It will on it because it's like, what is the fifth element? Oh, it's our soul. So, what holds the tendrils of the universe together? We do. Oh. Yeah. What about all the other elements? That's just the physical representation of it. Your body is
the higher self stands in the middle, the fifth element.
Yeah. And all they had to do was use a couple of blocks and runes, and they could sort that shit out.
Absolutely, and Bruce Willis, of course.
And Bruce Willis.
They needed Bruce Willis there.
Yes, had to have Bruce.
Yeah, anyone that can take down the Nakatomi building is welcome in an alien onslaught. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Oh God. Definitely welcome. Oh. Well, would this be a good time to kind of wind us down into a meditation, you think? Or you got anything else good for our folks and the harmony of the universe to share?
Oh, we could take a little trip straight down the quantum line.
We could.
Because we haven't discussed much of that, but
no, we haven't. It's been asked for too.
But it depends on what how the audience are feeling, really. Do you want some quantum shit, guys?
Do you want the quantum shit?
Yes.
How far you want to go? You want to go to the back of your hand? Or to your ear? Like.
Although that sounded like Nick Watts. Yeah. Oh dear.
Somebody posted the other day and like had like the weird lattice, like, you know, kind of like grid work. Like you can put your hand like on a silicone mat or something, it'll kind of stick and leave its imprint.
Yeah.
And you know, have you ever just looked at your knuckles?
Yeah, mine are a mess.
Mine are too. I mean, I got like Wolverine knuckles from how much I've popped them, broke them, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But you know how we all have very unique thumbprints.
Yes.
Or fingerprints. And
especially one of them.
Unique. Yeah. We have. Hey, yeah. I don't think I've heard the story behind that.
Oh, I chopped it off in a gate.
Man. Has it affect your rolling? Because you roll pretty freaking fantastic.
Oh, it hasn't affected my rolling. The only thing I'd say it's affected was my gaming. Yeah.
Yeah. The thumb exercises aren't quite what they used to be.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Can't quite game like I used to, but I'm not bothered about that because I'm not much of a gamer anyway. So, but yeah.
How we have very telling ears, we have prints, we have feet prints. Knuckles are something I've always looked at and wondered, you know, if things can be imprinted on our skin so easily just due to pressure, how about forceful impact? And yeah, what I'm getting at is like in knuckle wrestling, you know, just getting in a tussle, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
The knuckle print, you know, but it leaves a print, right? I'm not trying to get like on forensics or anything, but
yeah.
Have you ever looked at your knuckles? I asked this because I want y'all to, and look at all the different kind of like, for example, that middle one right there.
Yeah.
It's been broken and different things, but it's also been scarred a lot. And in the scarring, there's like patterns.
Oh.
And it's like almost like palm reading. You can look at knuckles and tell a story behind them.
You want to see these nasty old things? These are 50-year-old. Yeah, I mean, I've got a knuckle there. Look.
Yeah, you've broken that one.
Yeah, right back here.
Yeah, you've broken that bone, haven't you?
Yeah, I punched it right back to here.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
made a bit of a mess of them, like over the years.
You know, I got the. Yeah.
Have you got big hands?
No, I'm not just an overly big person. You know, I'm like 5'8". I am like the epitome of average.
Bruce Lee like.
Yeah, I would just equate my size to his. Yes.
Yes.
Demeanor and prowess. Nah, I'm getting there.
No, it's like me. A friend of mine says you've got wrists that go all the way to your hands, Rich.
Right.
You see, even with my full-sized thumb, I can't get my fingers around my wrists. Not at all. I've got massive bone structure, massive. It's ridiculous. Lugging all this around with me.
It's a mechanism though, because it's something that this body needed for this lifetime.
Yeah.
Maybe previous lifetime. You know, where you are is kind of almost dictated about where you've been, right? So we've talked past lives before, and you know, you hail from a Viking kind of lore and lineage.
I feel like I've got an image of being under a wooden stair but it was on board a boat. It was on board a ship.
Yeah.
And I remember all of us being tucked right back under the stairs as somebody was coming down the stairs, and we were all going to come out, and it was going to be a battle.
Yeah.
I can see the guys around me just like I have the memory from a trip we had last week. I can taste the salt in the water, and I know that my hair is white.
Mm-hmm.
I've got lots of it, and it's white. Such a mad thing to imagine. And then, of course, I met this Cockney guy, Tony. And as we got to know each other, we seemed really pally and very good mates.
Right.
And we got to talking one night, and he just opened up. He said, you know, he just looked straight at me. He said, I feel like I've been on a ship with you. And all that time I'd looked at Tony and thought, I think I've been on a ship with you.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually said it back to me without any push or shove. He just said, feel like I've been on a ship with you. I've got a sword in my hand. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, we've been here before, mate. We sort each other out to remind ourselves of our old lives, and then we've gone our separate ways.
Yeah.
It's like I say, this is a good thing to have on your mind when you're thinking about new friends or people.
Yeah.
Some people are for a day.
Yeah.
Some people are for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are for a season.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are for life.
Yeah.
You just got to use your common sense and your intuition to tell you which ones are the lifers.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, because and I've noticed too, we're quick to place that life status.
Yeah.
You know, and what we don't realize, like as collective, as humans, as and people, in a sense, that becomes a contract when it's not meant to be. And you bind yourself into what was supposed to be a day and make it a lifetime. You know, and that's part of the, you know, the ancestral trauma that we can release ourselves from.
Yeah.
What's
your past life memories? Because we've just been through one of mine, but what about you, man? This is quantum talk.
This is quantum talk. I was just about to get it. I was like, it might not be the quantum that you wanted.
Yeah.
Quantum talk, because really, I was about to say, really, it's not past lifetimes. It's simultaneous lifetimes.
Yeah.
Because there is no past or future, only present.
Nope. It's all happening right here, right now.
It's all right now. It's just in those other flowing rivers, all from the same source. All right. So when all right, I've witnessed 3 different accounts. I've shared the one where, you know, it was actually my first full-on guided meditation to past life regression, and I was like this whole other race of being. It was almost like that of an elf, but not what's been portrayed in fiction, something that was very sentient and lived in an ancient style Earth, or it could be a far future Earth. You know, like we talked before, if we go underground to prevent solar flare happenings, and then like we discover Agartha through tunneling means instead of through portal means. And, you know, what birds depicted these taller, more ethereal beings being in the North Pole and the South Pole, all these accounts, right? Well,
yeah,
I was, and this one was very traumatic for me, and ended up being like this elf person and I was female. What really resonated with me was I was walking through this beautiful grove. I could tell it was still.
If I was female, there'd be a couple of things that were resonating with me, my friend.
Oh man, yeah. But yes,
yeah.
The revelation was profound.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can walk like that? Hell yeah. Anyways.
Getting back to the bosom of your story. Sorry.
The bosoms, indeed. Yes. All right. You're going to muddle it. Now I'm thinking of bosoms. I'm very nice, too, since we're talking of that. Like, you know, I was comfortable. You know,
sorry.
Yeah. Now I'm saying I was comfortable in this body at the time, and what was really wild was the way I would depict it would be like, you know, that chiseled wrestler from back in the day, not WWE's big mainstream, but I mean like, you know, Junkyard Dog, Ric Flair back in the early days.
Yeah.
They were like, you know, they took pride in what they did, but they were still gruff, you know. That visage was a male being that was similar to I was. And that's my twin flame. And instantly when I saw this being, I knew that the same being is with me now, like in Amelia. And dude, it was so wild. And I was all giddy. I was just giddy. It was like, yeah, it was more than that. There's, yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So
outstanding.
Yeah. I was like, oh God, this is, you know, confirmation. But not that it was needed. It was just like an extra boon of goodness there. Well, we had a child and there were children in the village or whatever. And as I entered my abode, there was this almost Merlin Gandalf-ish kind of person.
Like Rugops.
Huh?
Like Rugops.
Kind of like Rugops, yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you know, since I've seen him now, yeah, like did kind of his figure,
his demeanor,
and but this being's demeanor was not the one I wished to encounter, you know. And he looked at me. I shooed the kids out the way. They went outside and played. And he just held me with this gaze, and I could feel like the aura off of him. You know, he was very much so a magician, but he wasn't performing magic at the time. It's just,
and at this point, you're not sure whether this is the past or the future.
Right. You know, I just know it is. And I mean, it's a full sense of being. And he looked at me, he goes, I need your answer, Evelian. And I just kind of had this look at him like, you should have known the answer, right? You know, I just looked at him and no. And he got up, walked over to like the fireplace area. It was really cool. I could write a whole story just on this one thing because of the amount of description.
The detail.
Yes, the detail and how real it was. That's what kind of really shook me, was how real it was. And I'm getting to the later half of it. But he kind of just propped up, looked into the fire, and he was like, that's unfortunate. And I felt fire engulf me, the village, just like the searing heat, much like that was described in that poem or the prose that I read just a little while ago.
Yeah.
Very similar in the sense that like a profound burning. Like, you know, it's not just fire. It was like malice incarnate, and it burns away. And you know, instead of going through the rest of the stream, I broke the meditation at that point because the massive amount of just hurt, grief. I mean, and see, I don't know if I actually died or if he just took that connection from me, you know. And because like I feel like that battle was not done, but there was grave loss there. And
have you ever tried to get back to it?
Yes, I have. And whatchamacallit? Well, I broke the meditation and I came back in a fit. And I mean, it actually wrapped my body. That's why I say in some meditations, like we do have to be careful, because instead of having just that exploratory mind, you need to have that sense of caution, I would say.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was convulsing. I damn near had a seizure, as I came back to myself, and like it hurt, and it was traumatic. I had to it took me a few weeks just to reconcile with it. I had to meditate on it. I finally did allow myself to kind of see the outcome. I didn't ever just go back into that being. I had to mull it over, and come find out he did take from me, but not take of me, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And in that sparked the push to fight back against this type of magic, because it was inherent and used by us being those beings, but it was in a natural balance with the world, right? And whatever he was doing was
out of balance.
Out of balance. And it became a war-esque type situation. And to its fruition, I'm still gray on it. Just, I know I died, but whether or not the means of sacrifice and prevail happened, that I don't know. The very first, that was the more kind of really deep dive, because it was like the way the meditation happened, it was really cool, and it was utilizing stairs and imagery and passing through fog and stuff. So it like there were steps to it, and on the breakaway I broke the steps, and that's why it was bad. I saw the comment, how do you avoid that? Really just keep yourself in a the bubble I like to talk about. Let that white light bubble
around you. Yeah.
Right. And usually that will suffice. If you find yourself traveling through a darker realm or a darker dimension, then being that light instead of having it around you, because darkness will overshadow light. That's in its nature. They are in tandem. So if you're trying to put out light, like pushing the darkness away, and you're nothing but darkness, all you're doing is growing the darkness, because you are creating the shadow. That's why you become that light, so you can inculcate it. And instead of just radiating light, you're not encroaching on the shadow, you're mingling with the shadow, if that makes sense.
I often say to people, when you walk in a room full of dark souls, be the light.
Yeah, be the light instead of having.
Be the light.
Yeah. And there's a difference, because you can have light and you have that bubbliness. Being the light is what will protect you when you're surrounded by the dark, because they're in tandem. They cannot extinguish the other. They can just illuminate one another. And
that's right.
That sounds weird, because darkness in itself is light, just the absence of, or the totality of, depending on what you're thinking. Also quantum talk. But along with what you were saying on the ship, and I told you in games with, like, part of my heritage goes back to like the Celts and the Vikings. I was a Viking, or a Celt. I'm not quite sure, but it was a Viking battle, and it was quite gruesome. And I remember the sensation of dying in this battle, and this regression I did. It was like, my fantasies as a kid were coming true, and I was like, oh shit, yes, I'm in that medieval setting, and I loved it. It was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I was fighting, and that's some of that darkness in me too, I guess, because it was like I was fully embodied in that warrior, and I was there.
Yeah.
And I'm not making I took an arrow to the knee. And I know that sounds bad. It's like a total Skyrim joke and everything. My adventuring days were done when I took an arrow to the knee. But I did. I mean, straight through my kneecap. It protruded and everything. And it was like, fuck. And as it hit me, I just sank into the mud, right? And I was knelt down. I held my sword. And it was planted. And I was just doing everything I could just to hold myself on that sword. And there's this big, just rough looking dude, almost kind of like the guy in your Hawaiian shirt you were describing, but a bear, just a massive bear.
Barbarian.
Yes. And he picked up my shield, laughed at me, and I mean, just beat the hell out of my skull with it. And it was like, as it was happening, I was smiling just as much as he was, because we were both meant to be there. Like every sense of the being was in this moment. That line is this is where that ends. That need for that war, that need for that mentality of constantly fighting. And I had that a lot as a kid, and especially through my teens and up to about the time that was written. And that embodied a lot of my being, was that need to fulfill that warrior.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Have you got any pain in that knee?
I do. And that knee is actually the one that got tore up real bad in my wreck that I had. And it's my left one.
Right. The reason I say that is because
you got a little gleam coming from it.
I know I was run through with the broadsword.
Yeah.
Front to back. Front to back.
You feel these things like they're there.
And now I have a hernia in my umbilical area.
Oh man.
And my spine has crumbled at the back. Right at the back of it.
Right. Damn.
So I know that's where I was run through.
Right. And that's along our DNA strands,
Right.
That's what I was getting at. Like all these things.
There it is.
And it took me experiencing that, like, firsthand, fully in the moment.
Yeah.
That allowed me to reconcile that warrior soul and like in this being, if that makes sense, because otherwise I would still be looking for that fight. I love fighting. I will still fight, but the fight that's in me isn't the fight that cannot be quelled, if that makes sense.
Yes, it's not an uncontrollable fight.
Right. It's more of a withdrawn and measured fight, I would say, because the fight's still there. Like I was telling Gaines the other day, I was like, when we get over there, because he's talked about him being martial arts and stuff. So am I. I love coming across people that are, because I want to test myself.
Fair play.
I want to test myself. Like
I'll be the referee.
Please do. We might need one.
Like contact, please, gentlemen.
Well, no promises. But what good is a fight if there's
See, I'm not a fighter anymore. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Wow. Well, hey,
my battles are won through my heart.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All of them.
Yeah. And I've done what I can to start like embodying that and being that, instead of that need to dismantle and tear down because it is of opposition. It's not that. Like Just like the side of duality, it will be a perpetual duality as long as you make it such. And then if you realize that it is all of the same and oneness, the whole namaste is taking the holiness of me and the demon of me and making them one. And I bow to you in recognition of the same. That is namaste. And that is where I have reached. In the sense.
I've always metaphored it this way, that I'd rather have a very small wild thing trapped in quite a large and sturdy box than have a large dangerous wild thing trapped in a small, not very safe box. It's as simple as that. And I have taken all my anger, hate, frustration, jealousy, everything, and I've put it in one solid place. And I know right where it lives. And I know also what it's quite possibly capable of. But there again, Americans have been walking around with the same loaded gun for years and probably never fired a shot. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's the truth. My granddaddy, he was a deputy. He kept a cigarette here, but he also had a little 22 Derringer. And he's like, if my time ever has come and I have that moment, I'm going to ask for a cigarette.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that, I mean, he carried a firearm for his job. You know, he was a deputy.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, I don't think he ever used it.
There you go. It's
his presence and his demeanor spoke volumes. Because like if he showed up, people listened, people obeyed, even though he might have not been the sheriff. I can't really remember. But like the happenstance that allowed me to have the family that I have was because of him. Because it was his deputies and my father in a shotgun. And there was a line drawn saying, like, where my dad was like, "You're not taking my son. He's in the crib, he's sleeping. This can be handled another day." And they were there with my birth mother and some trumped up legal papers, which were actually the papers they had subpoenaed her with. She put them back and was like, "I have a subpoena." She was just crazy at the time and really, really bad off. And it really got heated right there in my living room. And that's when Dew showed up and he was like, "Hey, you boys need to go home right now." And that was it. And he's basically the legal enforcement side of the legal battle in the court. That
it's a very incredible thing when a man learns how to use his alpha male.
Yes. Oh man.
It's dominant throughout many levels.
I love that you say that, because there is just a widely felt need for that. To like on that car that we had, follow the leader. Well, it's good to have that pinnacle in, in society or in the den, as Nick. The people that show you this is the way, right? But you have to lead with this. Like the leader is this.
Yeah, it's all heart.
Right. And it radiates in all directions, So lead with that. That is your leader. You can find somebody that inculcates it, and like Jesus, people followed him. He did not ask for followers.
Some people just either have that basic demeanor,
right,
and interest a lot of people, or you can become almost a grey man and unseen by society.
Yeah.
You know, if you wish to put all your alpha away, you can go about your whole life without being noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to call it a pollinated wallflower.
Perfect.
Just because
balance.
you can kind of, yeah, you drift, you're ever present, and at the same time, if you're noticed, right?
Yeah.
Because how often do you just look on, oh man, look at the flowers? Yeah, it's not often, but when you do, something sits right in your soul. Like,
yeah,
I'm glad I noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed with my new life, it's the first thing that really took me by total surprise was of all the things, when I got out of the hospital from having the stroke, there was nobody there to pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
I had no money, so no taxi or anything. So I walked the equivalent of what? 9 miles. Yeah, it'd be about 9 miles to get home.
Nice.
But
that's a nice little trek.
Yeah, but the fields and the trees and the flowers and just the smell of the air, it was like I was doing it all for the first time.
New life, yes.
New life, absolutely. It was amazing. And I've hugged trees ever since. So
yes,
don't think
actually hugging trees, like, yeah,
really good for you and the tree.
Oh, dude. For you and the tree. I've talked like how we grow our spirit tree. It takes grounding and stuff. Hell, go hug a physical tree if you're having trouble to grasp that on your ethereal scape. Go hug a tree and just be grateful in that hugging, because the tree already has acceptance. And I mean, it is grateful. If it bears fruit, it's grateful, right? Well, if it's just like a good evergreen tree, say like oak, it does bear fruit. I mean, it has seedlings, so
it still gives out oxygen.
Right,
it's a friend of mine.
It is a forgiveness and acceptance tree, and it is perfect for hugging, because as you hug it, it will offer gratitude. And like there's in all various cultures, there certain trees were chopped down for use, but things like oak and wormwood and there's the yew tree. Yews. Yeah, like these are pivotal pieces of nature. Like they were revered, they were sacred.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the yew tree, though, I do have a fun tidbit of history from your side of the woods that I found absolutely hilarious, and I had to put it into an old high school thing. It's the origins of our slur "fuck you." And the middle finger. And during the Frankish invasion of England, I can't remember the exact years, but what accosted most invaders to England were the longbowmen. And I mean, just if y'all don't know, in medieval times and a little before, England was renowned for marksmanship and their longbows. They could literally fire like 300 meters with a freaking arrow. That's the equivalent of our assault rifles today. So, I mean, they just decimated people. And all you needed was like 100 archers. And you win. So I want to say it was in York where they finally got foothold. No, that's too far north. It might have been in Lincolnshire. I'm not sure. I really don't remember. But the French had ended up actually making landfall and had a foothold inside of England. And they captured a garrison and they chopped the middle fingers off of the bowmen and sent them back.
Correct.
And what happened then was this rallied the English, and they came down, and it was like in the night they had built up barricades all the way around the garrison. And on the morning when they were beginning to move, they just showered them with arrows. And then the ones that survived, they sent them back, flipping their middle finger saying, "Pluck you," because they used a yew wooded longbow, and they were still able to pull without that finger. And they were the ones that had them were flipping them birds saying, pluck you," because it was an insult to their bravado, thinking that they could take away a finger and that would take away their arsenal. So,
absolutely, and that's what they did. But however, how did they have the word fuck?
Oh yeah, well,
I'm about to tell you.
Yeah, indulge us.
When I'm not 100% sure which king it was, but when one of the kings of England came into power, he decided that every marriage he would have the first union with every new bride.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
First union of the court of the king.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's how fuck came about, because it would be written on their door.
Yeah. Oh man.
First union, so
the court of the king. Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's interesting to think that, if the
language, that would be a whole another episode, just how, because I like to talk about that, and how things like touche is one I like.
Yeah.
It has become derivative of tush, and that's like to mean our ass. Like, just go wipe your tush and you'll be fine. Where that came from was in duels and fencing practice. And the reason why you said touche was because you landed a point. Usually it was with enough force to unass yourself, and you would fall down and it would be touche. It kind of similar to jousting. If you unhorse them, you get 3 flags versus a splintered lance is 2. A touche would be a marked win because you unfooted them.
Yeah, but used in the context of right back at you, mate.
Yeah, touche. Yeah, and it became a argumentative word, and then
a recourse.
Right, and then it got dumbed down into tush.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that then about a lot of our language, where it's come from in its infancy.
Yes, and it's wild too, because all the mistranslations from non-English speaking to what we thought they were meaning, like Norse in particular, because the mingling of the Vikings and the English was just, throughout the centuries, was over and over. It was, and the different things, there was different dialects from the Norse peoples.
Yeah.
And okay, we got a handle on, the Saxons, and then you have the Icelandic Vikings coming in, and then you had the Denmark Vikings coming in, and you had the Finland Vikings coming in. It was like different waves of Vikings. Not a single one of them spoke the same language.
Yeah, you couldn't understand one of them. Yeah.
So you had one monk that was like finally getting kind of around about what the Saxons speak, and then you got this new ones, and you're like, "The fuck are you talking about?"
What you're on about.
And
I just wanted to bring to your attention, I noticed something that came through on the chat earlier from Plasma.
What's that?
And he said that experiment with the Gans water and the key, it wasn't a indoor experiment. He said it was through a river.
Ooh.
Which makes it all the more absolutely remarkable.
Yeah. And a natural setting that, oh man.
Yeah. I wanted to point that out because he'd been bothered to mark me on it, and we were talking away.
Yes, we kind of went down tangents and everything else.
There you go. Or La Louva girls just put fornication under consent of the king. That's I suppose it could be looked at that way too. Yeah, I'd heard the other, but yeah, you're probably right. Fornication, that's a great word, right?
Yeah, it really, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could go somewhere with that. Let's not.
Yeah, you could, couldn't you?
Well, how about we get some vibage and do a little healing before we depart?
Well, I'll tell you what I need to do. If you set up some music, I'm going to go and refill my glass because I'm feeling a little bit parched.
Do so. I'm going to get us in the groove to dive into some meditativeness. By the time you get back, we should be right on track.
All right, man. I'm trying to access my thing here. I can't, can
I? You want me to pause it for you?
Just drop the mic out for me, would you?
Gotcha, yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, it's been an absolutely wonderful day. How's this backdrop? Yay, nay? I need some feedback before. Cool. Alrighty. Y'all know how I like to be. Let me dial it down just a hair. Go ahead and get comfortable. Get centered, comfortable, and how we can be in a place of serenity. And a woodland fairy is exactly what we need to be.
Here we are.
Yes. All right. Y'all get your feet planted. If you want to lay down, do so. It's going to be something a little different, so just bear with me.
I think I did this meditation with them the other night on my live.
Well, this is just going to be, it's some good backdrop.
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right. So just be conscious of your breathing. Let it be relaxed, steady, short, long, however you need it to be. And as you breathe in, let that breath be all that sustains you. For breathing is all we have to do. So being aware of our breath beckons and seeks healing. Allow yourself to drift away. Drift deep within yourself in search of healing and oneness. Take a deep breath, slow and conscious. Feeling your being, feeling the room, feeling your space. And as we exhale, relaxation floats over us like a cloud of relief The tension is released from our forehead, from our jaw, from our neck and our shoulders. Another deep breath filled with healing and relaxation. And as we exhale, further releasing the tensions of our body, our hips, all the way to our feet. I want you to be in your space, surrounded by nothing and everything. And we're just breathing. And as we do so, allow your mind's eye to open on a beautiful natural landscape. Wherever it needs to be for you is exactly where it should be. There is no right or wrong. There's just being and oneness in that being. And all we have to do is breathe. Calm, conscious breathing. And as we continue, I want you to open your hands palm upwards. Still breathing, and each inhale circulates the energy of the universe. And as we exhale, we give back as we were given. Now in this place of oneness, the serene nature, the beauty of it all, picture that white light emanating from you, not just around you, but it is you. And in your left hand, as you circulate and pull on that energy, I would like you to look with your mind's eye at that left hand as a mirror. And in this mirror, we see our judgments, our persecutions, the imperfections that we put on ourselves. And I want you, as that healing white light, offer acceptance, forgiveness, and gratitude to this mirror. Let your hand fall back down. And we're just breathing. Now within your mind's eye, raise your right hand as a mirror to the expectations, the ideals, the aspirations that you hold for yourself. And as you breathe, know they are one and the same with who you are and where you are. Let your hand fall back down, calm and relaxed. Our palms are still up, breathing, energizing, circulating the wonders and beauty all around us and from within. I want you to bring your palms together now. Rub away those misunderstood feelings, those shattered hopes. Put them all in this ball of light between your hands. And as we breathe, pulse love from your heart to your hands. Allow yourself to mold it, to shape it, to treat it as dough for making the sense of being wholesome, filled with love, filled with forgiveness, filled with gratitude. Still breathing, calm, collected, and conscious. We've molded this light with our love and the love of the universe. And put your hands back together. Speak your prayer, your blessing to this love and light that you've made. And instead of sending it out to the universe, place your hands over your heart. Let that love, let that radiance be given back to yourself, because it is yourself that this love and radiance comes from. Allow that energy to flow through you, revitalizing, reinvigorating, nourishing, and uplifting. Take a deep breath. Let it be a breath of gratitude and forgiveness. And as we exhale, release those woes and any doubts. Now, with a new eye and a new perspective, take in that nature, that world of beauty around you, and embrace that universal acceptance it shares with you and you with it. And all we're doing is breathing. Allow yourself to stretch your soul. Feel the air around you. Getting out all the kinks and aches. That love washing over. And then come back center. Come back whole. Come back in a sense of knowing. And as we recenter, let's bring our hands back center as well. For that love we've shared with ourselves is shared with the universe. And as it has revitalized us, so too will it revitalize the world. And with our hands together, one last little prayer of gratitude, forgiveness, and acceptance. And in this, we can send it back to all those in need. Now take another deep breath. Full, happy, nourishing. Hold it for a moment. And release as you need. Allow yourself to come back to a quiet space of nothingness and everything. Your space, your presence, and we're still breathing. Take a slow breath in. And open your eyes as your lungs fill. And stretch your body. Arms, back, torso, circulating all that you just did. And coming back center and wholesome gratitude. Now go share that love, that light, and that happiness. Namaste.
Namaste, my friend.
Yes, yes.
Feels good, huh?
Oh, beautiful. All right.
That was beautiful, mate. Absolutely beautiful.
You did it. Like I said, it's not me. It's all
yeah,
you.
but nice voice of the nice over voice of it. It all helps.
A little guidance. That's all it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I feel really settled.
I did too. Yes. That's one of my go-tos. Is I usually like to go into a grove, but I felt like I shouldn't place you in my domain. Let you be in yours, because it is essentially within our own and in our own presence that will give us the greatest boon. Even though reaching out and being in others helps, essentially it is our own presence, our oneness, our wholesomeness that alleviates us. So
know thyself.
Yeah, know thyself indeed. Now, the next time we do this, I'll open up the gates to the grove, and anybody's always welcome. I have 3 places that I keep open. That's the grove, my scribed library, and I kind of keep a channel open to the Akashic records as well, just in case it's needed, So, but yeah, I felt like everybody else needed their own space.
Always open to that. Always open.
Yes. You gotta be. Otherwise, then, you're mucking about.
Yeah, you're just playing around.
Yeah. I feel good though. That was good. Stretched my wings a little bit.
Yeah, nice.
Not so much, yeah. So, it's like
White Rabbit's grateful, and so are we all, I think.
Yes, I'm grateful for y'all. I don't know how I say it, but I really am. It's just, it's my pleasure.
Evil liked the music that was going on in the background as well. It all worked really well.
Yeah, I have a couple I like to go through. Most of them are of an enchanted sense, like enchanted forest or grove or woodland. This one's enchanted Celtic music.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's like a fairy house that's up on like a stump in the middle of a wistful pond. I don't know.
It sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Is it just me, right? Is it just me, or have you all dreamt of living in a giant hobbit's house?
Dude, like, no, it's not just you. That is like my soul's goal to make.
Oh, right.
Like, to be in and of the earth.
Yeah.
But not in the sense of like a biblical nature, like a Mother Gaia nature, back to the back to the womb, you know? And that, I think that's reason why we have that thought is because like where we are in the scope of our galactic presence is very much so the womb, and we are the birthing process. So
yeah, I just think that if when I come over to the States, I can find somewhere that's sort of Shire-like,
yeah,
with a bit of a hill.
yeah.
I'll be very tempted to start and build a house into the hill.
There's actually one here in town that's kind of like that. He built up like a basement subsection of his home, and it's in the hill. I'm like, that's just the coolest damn thing in the world.
They call them earth ships.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, it's technically it is a ship. If you look at it, you know, you go inside and you're like, this has the makings of, you know, everything, and it's carved out of earth.
Yeah. Yeah, I fancy that though. I mean, I've never seen anything quite as beautiful as a hobbit's home. I think that's just perfect.
Aren't they though? Like the construction of that, and that's in New Zealand too, and it's beautiful. Like, you know, the movies just were like, you know, it makes you think like, there's so much. We do get harped on the fantasy and the fictional things, but the way we portray them is very much reality and places that are real. And I'm like, you know, that's somewhere like your soul wants to go. Like, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had two pulls like that in my life. It's I want to go to the Shire, and I want to go to Legoland.
Legoland, yes. Dude, hell yes.
Oh yeah.
I could die in Legoland and be safe.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's like, what happened to Thomas 10 years later? It's like,
I wonder if they do like week visits with overnight stays, because I won't want to leave.
I'll be like that one guy in that one show that gets locked into the supermarket store and starts living out of like the camping shit and stuff. That would be me in Legoland. I would build shit and
me massive shit.
The castle that, you know, it's there. Yeah, most definitely. I've been drawn to the mountains and always the woods. I've you know, part of my being rests in woodlands. And,
mine's in a woodland, but in a cave.
Right. Like, you know, of it, away from it, but in it.
In an ideal scenario, I would just find a big cave and have the mouth done in full glass, double glazing.
Oh man, that would be. But what if it was like natural form glass, kind of like crystal, and you just had your own like ethereal skylight? That would be.
That'd be cool,
man.
But that's my idea of getting back to the earth and living with it with a little bit of modern technology. You know?
I mean, yeah, you can adapt your surroundings to suit material need, but at the same time, it's that reconnection that, you know, will be paramount to reconnecting.
Plasma says you can volunteer with the Earth ship people. You go out and you sort of help them build their homes. You know,
that would be cool.
Learn your trade along the way.
Yeah,
that'd be really good.
That would be really good.
Yeah, maybe we were all hobbits together in a different life. That's down to White Rabbit. That is not me.
Yeah. Well, that the regression with that elf-like person, it was a hobbit hole. Like, I mean, it was very much so molded by and in of the earth, and that's what I was saying. Like, I could dedicate a whole
story to just this one
very,
scene.
very Tolkien-esque.
Yes, but like words really don't describe it, because it was like ancient. It felt like, you know, like I saw Gaia, you know, in all her glory. It wasn't muddled and made mundane by technology. It was full on, self-sustained, and beautiful. I mean,
all working in harmony.
Yeah, so it was the essential realm of harmony. It was like, and even the nefarious person that was there, he was a part of it. You know, it was like the magic lived in the air. It was, and the funny thing is, it still does today. It's like, you know, the things that we call magic and like practitioners and stuff, they're all playing at the same thing. It's, you know, it's earth and universal energy. It's I mean, can you manipulate it? Sure. Can you put intention behind it? Of course. All these things, yes. It all comes from the same place, though, and that's the thing. Like, you know, and that's another one too, with the whole different show, is how and why they do things and the knowledge they have. Well, it's the same knowledge that we have, and that's been kept from us. It's just it's utilized in different ways, and yeah, sometimes it's not the best of ways.
Quite right. I said yesterday in my stream, I said man has gone as far as to be able to split an atom.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy release from the splitting of that atom is enough to sort of power the world a billion times over and over again.
Yeah.
But instead, they made a boom device for the army.
Yeah. You
know, it was,
and it didn't start as that. That's the crazy thing. Like, I love human ingenuity.
Yes.
Because we are boundless in of ourselves.
But what we can imagine, we can build.
Right. And the scope of that boundless sensation as we see it in the world is ever more so.
Yeah.
And it's like that need to push those bounds. Like, it's boundless, but we're going to find the bounds and push them further. And they do that. And when we do it, sometimes it's amazing, and other times it's like somebody comes in and says, I want that, and I'm taking it. And it's like,
that's right.
But I haven't played with it yet. I just found it. I want to play with it. No, it's mine. And then shit happens.
Yeah, we're taking it and that's it, sort of thing. You'll never hear about it. And if you say another word about it to anybody, you know,
better yet, you're not going to talk ever again. Bye.
Yeah.
So why are we having this conversation? Aren't you dead already? Like,
yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah. Red tile doorknob comes to mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Colombian Bam Bam. And
yeah. Hey, there's a few big names in executive places that are either dying or standing down. Have you noticed this?
Kind of shuffling out the door, so to speak.
Yeah.
I've seen that, and I mean, I've been nothing but kind of like aha with it, you know, more in the sense of amused and like kind of, you know, that point in the movie where you know what's about to happen, but they keep doing side tangents just to build up
prolonging that.
The filler for, you know, the inevitable climax.
Yeah, you're just about to get to the action when it zips back to a scene again.
Right. Yeah, I do that shit in my book too. I like that because, you know, it makes you aggravated because you know what's about to happen. You're like, but hey, what's happening over here? And it's like, I don't give a shit. Finish what's happening right here. And then it's like, no, you got to see this over here. And then, this happened.
Yeah.
When that fucking happened? I was watching.
That didn't fucking happen.
While you were over there.
Right, yeah, while you were over there, it happened over here. It's like, no. I was asking for that, man. Well, you saw that.
And did you watch the video that was posted up today? It had got half of Michael Jackson's face on the front.
Oh, I didn't yet. I saw
about the clones,
right?
So.
I hadn't yet.
Oh man, that is a peach of a watch.
Cool. I'll do that here in just a moment, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely an eye opener, and you come to realise just how commonplace it all is.
I mean, it started so long ago too. That's the thing. Like, you gotta think this is
1937, I think.
Yeah,
when
roundabouts. Yeah, it was in the 30s when they started the android process.
That's it.
The humanoid, I should say, because I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell Tom, Dick, and Harry apart, and they're all got circuits and not our circuits.
Yeah.
And it was wild. Like, they were implemented during the war. That it just like that's getting back on our topic from earlier, you know, without too much delay. It's just there was so much going on that it got swept under the rug, and all for the cause of spoils, as it were.
Oh yeah, they're in full distraction mode.
Yeah, because they're like, if we tell you everything, your mind will fucking shut down. And I mean,
your head will pop.
Yeah, and truth, for a lot of people, it would. Yeah. You know, for others, it'd be like, finally, you told us what happened there, and we got to see it.
Yes.
And then for the others, they're gonna be watching what's over there and come back. When the fuck this happened? And they're like, it's been happening. It's like it didn't happen. It's happening, and you're just now keying up on it. Don't be mad. Keep reading the story.
Yeah. You've had your feet up in front of the television for so long,
right? You
don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. It's just, good things, though. Good things.
Good things. Yes, we like good things.
Yeah.
Well. So I mean, I sense that you're going to wrap this one up.
I'm about to. You know, I'm not using the word it's dragged on. Yeah, I did promise the lady that it wouldn't be long, and and she's like, I already know, it's fine, I'm used to it. And I'm like, don't be like that, it's just gonna be quick. Hey, give some love and stuff, and the SpongeBob voice. 3 hours later.
Have we been on for 3 hours?
Maybe. Honestly,
that is remarkable.
Very possible.
That's bizarre.
So, Magic Conch Show. What do we do now? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. All right then, my friend.
Yes.
Well, this is where I'll bow out then and say good night to you.
Well, blessings. I love you, man.
Always.
I'm happy.
Always blessings, my friend.
I'm all good things. Back to the start of the episode. Keep that good vibe going. Keep the love going.
Yeah.
Nick's all enveloped in.
Nick's all good.
Oh man. So much good. Even though we might not see it and might not think it, I promise you it's there. And what you see from me radiating is just what I got from him. I promise you. Like, I've seen some folks saying like my energy's up today. I talked to our buddy and he's glowing. He made me glow and I was glowing with him, and it was all good stuff. So
open up your hearts, people, and send him all that love.
Yes.
It's keeping him going.
Tricky. You too, Tricky. Much appreciated. We both
take care, my friend.
Yes. Love you.
Love you too, man.